Send it below, John.
Alright, well, I think the Salford will be able to handle itself.
We are live. I'm just messing around with it.
We are live?
Yeah.
Phil's having his cake because it's his birthday.
Having his cake and eating it.
I'm eating it, yeah, it looks very nice. Legend's got a big piece of his cake to come. Celebrations all round because Leeds, sadly, do I have to stand up? Will you be able to see it?
Oh,
I've got my Leeds in Crisis t-shirt. And just for 1 week,
Sit down.
I've just got to put a badge on it that says
Sit
not
down.
in crisis.
Sit down.
Leeds
Sit.
not in crisis. I don't want anyone swearing at
Sit
me.
down.
Sit
Sit
I
down.
get quite offended when people
Just
swear
Down.
about Leeds in crisis.
Sit down.
Leeds in crisis. We're not allowed to talk about Leeds
I've
anyway.
been told though that Leeds are not in crisis. I understand from a source close to this programme.
All right.
That someone at Leeds says that Leeds are not in crisis.
Okay.
We should go for play.
Was that the official line?
People haven't really. How long have we been doing this programme for?
Yeah.
We should do that anyway.
In various forms, because people pick us up and say, "No, you're like Widnes, you've reformed." Yeah, I mean, we used to be somewhere else. We're in.
No, we haven't reformed. We got a transfer.
We got a 10-point deduction.
Yeah. We'll put it away. We'll save it for next week.
Selling it.
Oh,
It's a long season.
but hey, listen, we're on a roll.
Anyway, I've got to be nice to Leeds because I want to play in the PDRL game
Oh, yeah, play
at
Anfield.
Anfield.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I am available, but I actually got told to go forth and multiply about that as well. But never mind.
Well, they've got famous people in now, so what can you do?
There you go. Let me and Legend have been binned off now. Well done to Leeds.
Two
I'm not gonna
tributes
bin
to
that.
start with.
Oh, I'll go on then. I was just going to set the agenda, but you
Well-
know it's your birthday. You just ruin it. You do what you want.
Lil.
Yes.
Hats off to Lil.
Yes.
Little Lil.
The new
Yes.
star of rugby
Now
league.
that is, for whatever reason in the past there may have been need to criticise promotional videos done by whoever. That is a real success. The woman's season preview and the star is Little Lil.
It is.
So let's have
Magnificent.
more of Little Lil.
We look forward to seeing whether Little Lil becomes a professional rugby league player in due
But
course.
it's great, isn't that great? Doesn't that sell the message?
Well, it gives her something to aim for, and it gives the sport something to aim for to be
Can you like,
financially
elaborate?
viable. That she
Can
be
we
a
elaborate on
professional
this? I don't know the story. Can you just
Yeah, a little
elaborate?
video. The Women's Super League has been launched. Kicks off next week.
Right.
Sunday?
Is it Sunday?
Sunday,
My
yeah.
apologies, Sunday.
Right.
And Little Lil, who plays locally, under 11s, I think.
All right. Okay.
She's been the star of the little video. It shows her playing, and says she wants to be a professional.
Now I've
rugby
got
league
you.
player.
Right. Okay.
And
Right.
it
now.
showed. It was like a nice little promotional video. But
Right.
funnily enough, instead of having people on, like showbiz people, we actually just had women playing rugby league, showing what the game's all about. You know, Wigan celebrating when they won the grand final. Leeds celebrating when they won the cup. Georgia Roach getting the Woman of Steel trophy.
Brilliant.
Very good.
And then
Very
the tug
good.
on the heartstrings with Little Lil saying she wants to be a
I'll tell you what.
professional
Did
rugby player.
them women on the video? Did they play better than Hull FC did on Friday night?
Well, we'll come on to that in a minute.
The second
I think
verse to
Go
pay
on, yeah,
tribute
sorry,
to,
Phil. Sorry, Phil.
if you've got any spare cash, determined Dan, doing a walk between all the professional rugby league grounds, started at St Helens last week, hoping to get to Hull KR on Thursday for the Leeds game. If you need to know Dan's story, go on hashtag
Well, tell us a little
determined.
bit about it. Tell us a little bit
Well,
about it.
it's for they're raising money for Ward 52 of the LGI in Leeds, which is the brain cancer unit for
That's all the money I've got
for
for
children. And Dan himself has had 3 or 4 tumours and a few operations, but decided that he wanted to raise money for the kids on the ward and what they might need to aid their recovery. And he and the family are walking between all of the northern professional rugby league grounds. I think they got to Wakefield today. They were at Huddersfield yesterday, started at Wigan. And they're hoping to end up at Hull KR for the Hull KR Leeds game on Thursday, because one of the big supporters of the charity is Mitch Garbutt.
Oh, good.
And so if you follow them online and see how they're doing, and if you see them or if you get the chance to donate, then please do.
Very good. Very good. Yes, good luck to Dan and his family, etc. What a guy, yeah, giving up that. That's a good effort.
He's only 14.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very good. Good luck to Dan and his family. Well done. Well, is that it? Have you finished
That's it.
now?
I
Is
just
that
thought
it?
I'd get them.
Feel like I'm in church,
it's
you know,
be-
parish
yeah,
notice.
no,
It's before I forget.
Before we
I'm
go.
at an age
Yeah,
now
'cause-
where I'm going to forget stuff.
Well, you're not going to forget to eat that cake, so why don't you
No.
just write it
You think
down?
we should
Pretty
give
funny.
a rendition of Happy Birthday to
No,
them?
no,
it's just copyright.
no,
The
it's
features
no
off
good.
YouTube,
No,
honestly.
we're not allowed live music. We don't have a
No, we're
license.
not. Well, because I say, another part of our team, Tracy, who does the teas as well. It's
Right,
oh,
Brian.
oh,
Brian.
it's,
Yeah, who?
well, it's her birthday today, and also too, it's my granddaughter's birthday as well. So I'd like to give her
If you want to sing happy birthday to your daughter, we'll allow that.
granddaughter. Do you know what I mean? You know. Well, no, there's 3 of them. So after 3, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
20 seconds,
Happy birthday to Phil and Tracy and Olivia. Happy birthday to you all. Have a great day.
Well, I don't want to say anything, but the numbers on Facebook have actually dropped when you started singing that. I mean, I'm not making this up.
That's a bit harsh.
The people at home, it's not like the music figures people make up. You can see this; it's real.
Happy birthday.
No worries. Please share, subscribe, like YouTube, Facebook. Share it with friends. The more people know we're here, the better. And you can let them watch Scully eating his cake, which will be an experience for everybody. Right, well done to Leeds. Well done to Leeds for beating Castleford. We'll get Scully's opinion on what happened to Castleford in the last 3 minutes, I'm sure, during the next 2 hours. Well done to Warrington. Wow, how well are they playing at the minute? We'll discuss that. Lee Radford blamed injuries for his side's defeat after the game. The Giants, they're back on form. Another win for them. They beat London. Saints, must say scrape past Hull KR, but Hull KR give them a bit of a scare, didn't they? Fair play to Rovers there. Wakefield beat Salford, and Wigan are Catalans in crisis because they have been nil thumped again. What's that, the second time in about 5 weeks? They are in trouble, and I think their recruitment, while they've signed some very good players, I think their recruitment has upset the apple cart, that has upset the team, that has upset players, that has upset how they're playing, and I think they've got a big decision to make in the next few weeks as well. And well done to all the teams that got through in the old cup. Keighley, I mean, within an ace of knocking out the Bulls. So well done to them. We'll have the draw as well later.
Yeah, we're just going to nick off the BBC website.
Yeah, no problem.
Hilariously, well, we're all part of the one sport, aren't we? Hilariously, people have already started with the conspiracy theories that Leeds will get Sato, Heathorpe, and/or Batley, and/or anyone. So stay tuned for Leeds have fixed the Challenge Cup draw coming up live after 7 o'clock this evening.
Mark, before we get into it, I don't know. I just want to reply to this gentleman here.
What, another letter?
No. Whoever this person's great because they've managed to get the words 4020 into the league.
Yeah, but
get in touch.
Yeah, but I just want to reply to this guy because he wants me to contact, but I don't know how yet. But anyway, it's help us, Gary. The headline is: Dear Gary Schofield, having watched you on 4020 programme on the YouTube, thank you for speaking out about the reintroduction of the Yorkshire Cup. Why can't the RFL appoint you onto the board? Are they frightened about what you might say about the way our game is now going? Why don't you... What you don't know about Rugby League is not worth worrying about. I would have appointed you as the RFL president instead of Tony Adams, who's a football legend but not Rugby League legend like you. Could you contact us regarding... This is the point. Could you contact us regarding the relaunch of a professional Rugby League club in Blackpool? I am the newly appointed press officer for Blackpool, but a supports club that does not have a professional Rugby League club. All fundraising we do is for amateur clubs, with the exception of giving £200 towards the Billy Boston statue in Wigan. Brilliant. And Billy finished his career at Blackpool Borough. I didn't know that, did you, Phil? We have given under £30,000 towards National Conference League clubs and bar amateur clubs and grassroots junior schools teams since professional club folded. I would be grateful for your help and advice in making this happen. So, Mr. Tobin, I guess it's John, is it Jay? Jay Tobin from Blackpool. Mr. Tobin, if you can contact me on Twitter with your details, I will be absolutely delighted to get in contact with you and we can raise money, get the awareness and get the marketing for your club. I will be absolutely delighted to help you. So, Mr. Tobin, get in contact. I'm ready to help.
Breaking news, by the way, of course, the legend was in talks last week with the RFL.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, he went for a curry with Big Nine.
Oh, yeah.
That's as near as you
get. You're dressed as the president of the RFL.
Yeah, you're up in your game, Gary. Neatly ironed shirt as well.
Are you trying to say I come here like Steptoe?
Yes.
You've got shoes on and a shirt that buttons up.
Well,
yeah. Although you've got a lot of chocolate down it, so I hope you're not wearing it tomorrow.
Hold on. Am I next to Vidal Sassoon here? It's free.
Vidal Sassoon?
Who's he?
Siegfried Sassoon.
I don't think any of us have got enough hair to worry Vidal Sassoon.
Anyway,
sorry. I'm on about dress wear.
Right, let's talk about the rugby. And I'm not starting off with Leeds because everyone mourns when we talk about Leeds. So sod that. We're not talking about Leeds. We're talking about Warrington. And how good are Warrington at this moment? And I realise in March you do not win anything. But they went to Hull and they were a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to watch. Blake Austin is showing what marquee players are all about, isn't he, Phil?
The one thing that they did this week that they haven't probably done yet this season is they were ruthless after half-time. Now, I don't know how much that says about how good Warrington are or how poor Hull were on the day. Bearing in mind that Hull now have conceded their record defeats home and away to Warrington. I don't know how much of looking into the face of the headlights and Hull stopping and not being able to defend in a way you would expect them to made Warrington look more attractive than they are, but that was an absolutely comprehensive. I think we've seen 2 displays this year where a team for the full 80 minutes has put their opposition to the sword, Salford in Catalan and Warrington at Hull. And if that is a marker at the end of March, then that's the standard they need to attain virtually every week. I got the impression they've looked at the fixtures and said in a fortnight we're playing St Helens, we need to build up to that. So there was no foot off the gas. And they were a pleasure, and Austin obviously is key to moving around. But I like the front row. I just really like the offloads of Hill and Cooper and the energy of Darryl Clark. And I think from that, Austin's got a free rein to do what he likes. And of course, no doubt Gary will talk about taking dummies because he was quite good at giving them himself. But Hull just seemed mesmerised in the second half. And I think there are some issues at Hull at the moment. I think there are 2 coaches this week that have said there are some players that wouldn't be playing for their team if everybody was fit, which is a very brave thing to say if you've got to count on those players again in the next couple of weeks. But yes, Warrington were good, but I do think there is a measure of Hull were appalling.
You mentioned them dummies. Your granddaughter Olivia would have been disappointed to accept some of them dummies that Hull conceded in that first 20 minutes, Gary. They were as good as Warrington were. Hull were embarrassing, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But also as well, Matt, to be honest with you, and you know, Warrington, yeah, they learnt the lesson from the week before. They took the foot off the gas, but they got 63 points. I'd tell you what, if they wanted to, they could have got 18, 90 if they wanted to from there. But when you look at Hull, and I'm not blaming Lee Radford here one little bit, because as an ex-professional sportsman and a player, a coach shouldn't have to give you attitude. A coach should not have to give you enthusiasm. And a coach should not have to give you, you know, that sort of spirit what you require. And, you know, I was talking to my mate Crooksy on Saturday about it, and I said to him, I said, you know what, Lee? I said, one thing I didn't see when Blake Austin scored his first try with the dummy, I says, I wasn't seeing anybody saying Austin now does not get away with another dummy.
Yeah, even if you flatten him.
Correct, whether he's got the ball or not.
Yeah.
Austin now, Blake Austin now does not get away with another dummy. But where was the communication from anybody? It was absolutely pathetic. And what I'm seeing from them Hull players from there was no purpose in that performance. And I will not blame the coach for that performance, because as individuals and a team collectively, they have to take responsibility with what's going on and out there. And for Blake Austin to get away with the 3 dummies what he sold, and not just score but to create the tries as well, as I've said in my column, absolutely pathetic. And there was no purpose, no enthusiasm in that performance.
I spoke to Radders, you can see it on Forty20. If you subscribe on YouTube, it'll be on there. And I said, you know, what was said at half time? He said, well, I said we'll go out with a bit more purpose second half. Yeah. Second tackle, they got buzzed straight up the middle and they went off and scored.
Well,
again,
do you know what's wrong, mate? Right, and I tell you, yeah, and all my hands up, you know, I got walloped a few times, 60, 70, you know, and against the mighty Wigan, but so did other people as well. But we still had a bit of a dig. But them Hull players, you know what, they were all looking around to say, well, is anybody going to do what? When you looked at them dummies, literally, when he gave it and he's going under the 80s, all the players just like that. What's happened here? Well, I'll tell you what's happened. You're just showing no commitment or purpose or desire for that jersey. It's as simple as that. And as a coach, yeah, you can only do so much. But as individuals, you should have your own commitment. You should have your own attitude.
I looked at that team on Friday night, and they were playing, you know, no Ellis. There were some key players missing.
Gareth Ellis is 37.
Listen, there were some key players missing, but I still looked at that whole team, and they were all Super League experienced.
Absolutely.
There were no 16-year-old kids that think, oh, God, he's going to get hammered today.
Albert Kelly was unfit, do you think?
Well, look, I don't know, but if he is unfit, I mean, Lee said there were 14 players unavailable. We had a bit of a top in the press room. I think we got to 8 that of their first choice players that might not have been available. But
Mark, do you know what?
I'm like you, mate, and Mark, I said this after they lost 80.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're a school kid and you're not good enough and you can't tackle.
And do you know what's wrong? Right?
Not when you're a professional.
Do you know what? I'm getting fed up here now, and I won't defend the coaches. I'm getting fed up with the coaches blaming injuries, right? Everybody's got full-time squads of 25, 28 players. These players who are not playing when they've got the full team out, but when the injuries do happen from there, then players should quite simply be told, put a marker down from there. If you play well consistent, you can keep that place from there. I'm not buying into the scenario now. They're blaming injuries because it happens. They have got full-time squads with 25, 28 players who should be putting up a better performance than what they should.
What's happened to Hull? Bearing in mind that, yes, we thought their recruitment, when they had this last crisis last year, was poor, that they didn't come up with the name signers that they said they were going to. They gave everybody who'd let them down the last time a second chance, and a lot of those people were in that team on Friday. But you look round at Jordan Abdul and what he's doing at London at the moment, Reece Dean, Brad Fash, they brought through a lot of players who they've let go, Hull kids, and you just wonder whether a mistake has been made on two fronts, not just who is in that 25 at the moment, the back end of that 25, because there's clearly an issue about whether they're good enough, and Lee Radford said that. But also the kids who perhaps they thought weren't good enough, they've been allowed to go on to other clubs. The whole recruitment policy at Hull just seems wrong at the moment.
I tell you what I know, right? When you talk about attitude, right? After that game, I bet you Gareth Ellis was thinking, do you know what? I've come out of retirement after nearly 2 years. I've got the right attitude. Is it me, who at 37, nearly 38 years of age, coming out of retirement, after show, after giving that right attitude?
Someone said to me in the press room, would that have happened if Gareth Ellis had been playing? And I said, if that wouldn't have happened if Gareth Ellis is playing, he should be the coach then. If they're that bothered about him being in the team, that they're playing for him and they're not playing for Lee Radford, then he should be the coach. Because that's not the first time.
Well, that's a question. Well, that's the question I was going to ask you, Matt. Because was you there on Thursday?
Yeah, I was there.
So you was there. So I'm not getting the feeling. At this moment in time that the players aren't playing for Radders. If I'm honest with you, are you saying that? Are you seeing that a little bit? I'm not seeing that at the moment. I'm blaming the players. I'm blaming the players as an individual. Yeah,
they do the winner. I think they're weak mentally. I think the team is.
I'll agree with that.
One thing that Lee Radford said that I thought was interesting as well was that they're not enjoying playing at home at the moment. That the atmosphere's dead, and that they're quite like.
Hold on, you make your own atmosphere with your own fans.
There were 2,000 at London the week before. They seemed to play right there.
But apparently the 1,000 away fans that went make a lot of noise and get behind the team. Now again, that's a very dangerous thing to say because you need to turn it around. If you've lost by 63, however many.
I thought, in fairness, I thought the fans went quite easy on them. I would have expected it to be. No, it was quiet, but it wasn't. After conceding 63 at home, as a fan, I'd have been shouting and screaming. Yeah, I think I would. Go on,
It's obviously not as bad as when they played Wakefield at the end of last year, isn't it?
Well, it's a concern, mate. It needs sorting out.
Well, how many? If we go back to they had that 13-match losing streak.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to ask the question now. Sorry, I keep jumping.
That's okay.
I know people want to get in touch social media, get in touch Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I think he's out of contract, Lee Radford, in the end of the season. I think Hull needs to come out and publicly decide. Now, I'm hearing at Hull there could be some issues coming up off the field that might cause them some problems, and I think Hull could be in a bit of trouble.
Hull, people making excuses. This is what we like. Cameron, I'm not saying you are making excuses, but no communication on matches and Hakim Maludi. If you've got that person putting hands on the face emoji. Chris has been on. Scott, you'll love this one. Hull were bad, but 8 days off against 5 does not help. Warrington did play a tough game against Wakefield, and I think that more to do with anything else is they learned that you can't just switch off after 20 minutes. I got a bit of a stick on the social media the other day for saying that Warrington nearly threw away the result against Wakefield. But they did nearly throw away the game.
And just in reply to that thing, if it had been 20-all with 20 minutes left and they'd have got beat by 6 in the last 20 minutes, then that argument, they were 30-0 down in about 20 minutes.
Mark, you know what?
Tiredness, that's an attitude.
Mark, you know what? It was like the week before when I was at the Hull KR Huddersfield game. And even now, I've been speaking to some Hull KR fans today, they're all the same before the game started. It's the bench, it's the bench, it's the bench. It's weak, it's weak. They had a dig against St Helens. Oh, well, because they had a better bench. And now when you're listening to that from a supporter, 8 and 5, it didn't help us. They're all believing this absolute bunkum spin. Yeah. Because of all this spin, what's coming out, everybody's just falling into the same trap.
What did we say last week? And I was thinking, hang on, I'm in for the world record worst prediction when Hull KR were winning. I'm surprised that and we'll talk Hull KR in a bit, how strong their team was.
Yeah.
I thought mentally they could have gone, you know what, sack this.
Well, that's
We've
what we
got a
all
big
thought.
game next week.
That's what we all thought. Yeah.
And they went and they've had a right dig.
They've had a dig.
They've had a dig. And they've lost by 12 and they've had a go.
And
do you know-
all of their fans
Yeah.
on social media
Delighted.
were saying, "What a great performance!
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're so proud of our team."
They've
Well,
had a go.
Well, the UKR
That's all
fans,
you
the UKR fans I've spoken to today, they were saying, about exactly what you just said. So I said, well, if you had the same dig against Huddersfield, who are not as good as St Helens, who knows what might have happened?
Well,
and
this is-
and
you're
the
gonna have to
response I got, Mark, well, we didn't have a strong bench. I just burst out laughing.
I mean, they did have a weak bet, but again, it's no excuse. And it's all right quoting injuries when you lose by 10. When you lose by over 50, injuries are irrelevant.
and you're at home. I think that's the other thing.
Well, look, if Blake Austin had scored 4 tries and they'd have won by 6, everyone's going, wow, he's good, Blake Austin, he's won them the game. Let's be fair, like you said, if they'd have wanted to score 80, they could have.
Oh, yeah, they could have.
Absolutely.
You know what you've done now by
Oh,
saying stuff's happening. They want to know what's happening.
No, sorry, I'm not one of them over in the know. I'm not. I just understand there could be some things coming up that might cause a lot of problem.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. But I do think they need to sort the coaching position out because they don't want to end up going down a road where if the players think, well, he's going, then that does affect
Plus,
them.
plus as well, there's a few high-profile players contracts up at the end of the season as well.
Which again is bad management at the top. The other thing that was quite interesting that Lee Radford said was he obviously said that Warrington and Helens were in a different level, and now that's set the standard that clubs like Hull need to aspire to. But what happens when Hull play St Helens or Warrington again? I just think it's a dangerous game to keep saying, oh well, they're that good that that's the level we need to get to. Well, hang on a minute.
And I'm not going to quote Cass, but Cass are in the midst of an injury crisis.
Yeah.
They're 4 points behind Warrington. They've got to Warrington and lost in an injury. If they'd have won that game, they'd be level with Warrington. So as well as Warrington are playing,
absolutely,
they're not unbeatable, are they?
But you know what as well? Like I've said it in the
they've got a settled lineup.
Yeah, they have. They've been lucky with injuries.
Yeah, it is. But also too, like I've said it in the call today. If you look at the league table at this moment in time, Saints and Warrington, they're in the 5, right? They're in the 5, and then the rest of them. So then there's 10 teams looking for 3 places. I tell you what, from the bottom until the 3rd spot, the way everybody's been inconsistent, you can't name the other thing for the 5
Leeds
spot.
are bottom, and they're 4 points off the top 5
that's what
as
I'm
it
saying.
stands at the minute.
Because the inconsistency of all the sides from there, you can't really nail the next 3 sides that are going to realistically be in the top 5, can you? Because of the inconsistency.
Leads in inconsistency.
What's happening?
Elsewhere, Daniel wanted Scottish thoughts on Blake Austin. I was trying to find the one that someone was talking about last year, at the end of last year, and I can't find who it was now, but they said that Hull had mentioned, here it is, Neil, thanks Neil. What happened to the clear out at Hull? They've kept the same players and signed Wilson. That's John Abdul.
It's not happened.
Who seems to be the only one who's been...
Hey, do you know what? Hey, Mark, do you know what has happened? Phil, do you know what has happened? Rich, do you know what's happened? You know Mr. Pearson, when he put in his column, score it, get a proper job. Listen, fellas, I've managed to get a proper job. I'm working for a recruitment company.
So Hull needs to get some proper
I'm working
players,
for
because you've done
a
your half
recruitment
of the
company, Venningham Recruitment. Mr. Pearson, you've got your wish. I've got a proper job. Now, you start doing your own proper job yourself. Simple as that.
It's not been a good few weeks for coaches from Hull.
But also as well, you mentioned Blake Austin. You know, one thing for sure, when he signed, brilliant signing. But the kid came over early, got a smile on his face from day one. This will contradict your thing as well. Hold on, Phil. Hold on. Came over early, got a smile on his face, got the right attitude, wanted to fit in straight away. Now they're getting rewards. He settled in straight. Hold on, Phil. Hold on. You can have your own say. He settled in straight away. It's not taking him 6 months to get settled in, Philip. Off you go.
Now,
even though it's your birthday, he's still getting ripped in.
The other thing that he has done is been given exactly the right role by his club, who have basically said, we'll pick somebody who will get you the ball when you need it. You just come into the game when you see the opportunity to make maximum damage. And again, I think the coaching staff at Warrington deserve a lot of credit. They've not tried to make him do anything that would be different to the way.
So you're saying, he's not getting that at Leeds then?
I don't know. It might not be. He may not be as good as Blake Austin. That might be the first thing.
Well, I can tell you he's not as good as Blake Austin.
Not only has he come over and bought into everything, but Warrington have given him exactly the platform he wants to be the player who...
Well, isn't that what we should be
but
doing with all the overseas
sometimes
players?
That doesn't happen, does it? And,
no, but you buy into the spin of time, Phil, when it takes time to blend in. How long? 2 years?
It hasn't taken for John Bateman. And conversely...
Well, I told you about myself, and Crooks, and Hanley, and Ward, and Gregory when we went over there.
There might just be very special talents, but it isn't the same for everybody.
Right, okay. All right.
It's like
We could,
They are
I
playing
could-
well, and they're not a one-man
could give
team.
you
No,
That's
no,
very
no,
wrong
hey,
to
I tell you
say.
what, because what's creating charisma for me when I see it, certainly, you know, from the tap moves, they're going nice pass to somebody who can, then Chris Hill's second man out, and then it's called a two ball, but they're not just playing a two ball, they're playing a three ball from there, and it's brilliant, and that's what coaching is all about, getting the players who know what they're doing, confident in that
You
ball.
remember when Price took over and we were all a bit, oh, it sounds a bit as though it's all about defence. Look at them now.
Yeah,
They were great.
They're a pleasure to watch. They are a
Yeah,
pleasure to
Well, he
watch.
came on the radio and said Scully was his favourite player.
No.
Yeah.
Who did?
Steve Price.
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, he's my favourite coach. I'd love to play for Steve Price. Steve, I'm available. I'm only 53. I'm available.
The old days.
The player who hasn't been selected for any of the England squads, probably the unlucky one of all of the ones who wasn't, Mike Cooper. You can see now that spell in the NRL has
He's a
absolutely
far better player.
transformed him.
Yeah.
The player that's come back and now
What's
is,
bad to do for him because we play the best competition in the world.
And you come back again, he says it all the time. He's a forward. How many minutes does he play?
He want-
How
because
many minutes
Mark,
does he play?
and Phil, and Rich, as I said to you loads and loads of times, the players want to
And
play for the full minutes.
is that when we talk about these 8 interchanges? Is that where they're
Yes.
blessed?
They
Because
and
him,
Helens.
Hill,
Yeah.
they play all day. If you
They
want
love it,
to.
absolutely
And not
love
only
it.
do they play all
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
they play well.
I
That's a big
think
thing.
the two teams at the top that are blowing everybody else away at the moment have done the best of the reduced interchange down here. They've put together a squad of guys that can either play long minutes or people that come off the bench where the intensity doesn't lessen. And they have set the benchmark on that, certainly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there you go. So it's not all about. We're not all about Leeds.
No,
there you go.
that's
I don't know
good.
how long we've been talking about Warrington,
well,
what I
but they
would
were
say-
brilliant to watch. And you know what? I'm excited to watch in a fortnight, whenever it's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That game,
Yeah.
St Helens.
Where's it at? Is it Saints or Warrington?
I don't know.
Saints, I
We'll
think.
find out.
Right.
The other thing is late offloads of prop forwards, of which we were saying Mike Cooper is a classic example. Grant Millington as well.
Yeah.
It's the other one I would pick out.
Yeah.
When you get the old Lee Crook style prop forward driving the ball and you think the move is dead and it pops out,
Yeah.
that is just a joy. And if that's coming back in the game, brilliant.
Hey, I tell you what as well, because you know I was out with my great friend Nigel Wood on Wednesday night.
You never told us this.
Well, I think I did
You
give
kept
him.
that
I
quiet.
did give him. I tell you what, nice.
Is your new
I tell you what,
head of the
I tell you what,
Rugby
you know,
International
because
Federation? Don't that press release was about it.
he listens to this, and so does Big Fog as well. But I tell you what, nice was telling the story when he was playing his amateur days. He was as good as Lee Crooks. He was as good as Lee Crooks. Ball handler, light on his feet, and he was telling the story when he was playing. He had 4 guys on the back of him, which about 50, 60 yards out, and just literally as Crooks did as going down on the deck, 2-inch pass off the ground and set the triumph on the sporting halfback. And I just said to him, well, nice, to be honest with you. What happened then? Did the wife just wake him and say, Nige, come on, you eat your big, you eat your big any wee dreaming, but oh no, Nige puts himself in the class of Lee Crooks, and I believe him.
There's many lines there.
He must have paid for the
I'm
interview.
going to say, well,
Yeah, we're paying for the next one.
Alan says, Hull are stale. Early Bird 58 says, support is a two-way street. I like the fact that their nickname is the
What
black
does-
and
what
white.
does that
It's wear
mean?
black
I,
these days.
I'm
What
not
does that
saying
mean?
there's anything wrong with their support. They have almost as the most passionate fans around.
I thought they were all right with the team
when,
tonight.
when
I did
their,
honestly. I thought
when
they were
their
fair.
coach says we're struggling to play at home because there's no atmosphere here, then you're making a bigger rod for your own back.
It's a strange place, that ground. It's the same for the football. It's just like there's a black cloud over it. Honestly, I don't know what it is.
Talking about Blake Austin
Go
being
on.
brought into the game when he causes maximum damage. Daniel points out that seems to be the entire game.
Yeah.
Um,
Every time he touches the ball.
Well, do you know exactly, Mark? That's when I talk about champion players. You know, and certainly he's a champion player in Super League at this moment in time. Is Blake Austin. They don't need to be involved all the time. The game is for 80 minutes, right? And Blake Austin, with what he's doing, he's coming up throughout that 80 minutes. You would say around about between 8 and 9 champion players. But them champion players, what he's coming into and what he's doing, is creating around about 6 or 7 tries. If he's not scoring them himself, he's creating them. So if you create 6 or 7 tries out of there, you have the goals. It's 40 points. Good night, God bless.
We'll get
And that's
the,
a sign of a
and-
champion player.
And he only made 4 tackles, which again gives him the
That
licence.
is music to my
No,
ears.
but seriously,
Oh.
that gives him the licence to come into the game to match
no,
them.
but Phil, you're one of these people who spin a little bit. Oh, well, he can't tackle. We don't make 25, 30 tackles. We don't make 25,
But the
30
fact that
tackles.
he's only making 4, then the attacking side of his game.
I'll tell you what, that is music to my ears, and I want to applaud the Warrington forwards for looking after
But
it.
doesn't that show you how bad Hull were? Because I would like to think, even if we could, coached the team, we'd be saying we need to run at him and try and make
Well,
him do some tackling.
I think we'll find that the whole half-backs made a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, word on Darryl Clark, Ledge.
Yeah.
The Clark that we saw at Cass, I think we're seeing now, aren't we? He's almost got licence now, and I just thought him, Ratchford, Austin, they look lethal.
They are, nowadays I talk at the spinal side, back to his best, Darryl Clark. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, because Tony Smith has been a quality coach and was a quality coach, but he didn't get the best out of him for whatever reason, used him as an impact player. Darryl Clark's not an impact player. Darryl Clark's an 80-minute player, as he's proving from there. Back to his best. You mentioned all the players. Sensational. Yeah. Absolutely sensational.
They were good. And I don't want it all being bad to take away from that, because they were a breath of fresh air, I thought.
I mean, all this, Josh Charlie gets a hat-trick and no one cares.
Mind you, that one when Griffin dropped the crikey.
Mark, I know, I've got a 6-year-old grandson. I've got a 2-year-old grandson. He'd have made a better effort than Griffin. Don't worry about that, eh?
And having dropped it, you might have tried to get it back.
But again, this is what I'm saying here. When you talk about commitment, attitude, and purpose, a coach can't give you that. You've got to have that as an individual. You can't blame a coach for that. No. And I will not blame Radford for that performance on Friday night. Not a chance. I won't.
But there are issues going back to the middle of last season to now. How far have Hull come as a team? When you looked at that performance on Friday night and compared it to the worst performances in the back end of last year, injuries were the excuse, which there were some then and there are some now, but they haven't changed the squad. No. And this is a team now that has lost 3 of its biggest ever games inside half a year.
Yeah, but they're 2 points off third.
Absolutely.
I think we have to look at this. Yeah. We have to look at. But even Lee Radford himself said, "I'm sick of writing games off and saying, well, we'll forget about it. We won't write this one off. Let's see how they get on next week. They've got a nice long turnaround, haven't they, next week?
Who they got?
Salford away on Sunday. So they've got 9 days.
And who they got the week after? Because the week after that's a derby. Who they got the week after?
I don't know.
Somebody else.
Yeah, I think it's Catalans away, I think it's Catalans away.
Yeah, but let's see how they react next week. If they bounce back and win and they're back in the top 5, it is only one game. Let's not chuck them out. They can still make the top 5, but they need to up their work there.
I'll show you something funny in a minute. Why did you give the refs a score over 100 in the paper? Man of Steel betting. Blake Austin is 7-1. He's a point shorter than Paul McShane. James Roby is the 7-4 favourite. The numbers will be out later.
I'll tell you what, Cass put a point shot on Friday night because of Paul McShane.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later.
Paul McShane could have a 3 to 5 match ban coming up?
Yes, he could do.
Elsewhere on social media, Mark says Hull were hopeless. Second row's had its day. Jordan Thompson playing centre was a strange selection. Andy can't wait. Clark versus Roby. Danny says Tony Smith for Hull. Make sure you get the right one. Toby says 35 tries in 36 games since Charlie came back, and people doubted him. Like Gareth Ellis, he's had a year away just to do nothing. Ellis was in an office. Josh Charlie stood on a wing, and now he's back and scoring tries, and he's back in the England squad, and everyone's excited.
Well, to be honest with you, any half-decent winger, if you get the right service, they're going to score tries. Because, as I said last week, the wingers are not holding the touchline. That white line is the winger's mortgage. It's a winger's mortgage. You should not be coming off there. But the way that wingers are defending nowadays, you give half an opportunity to a winger like Charlie. Good night, God bless. See you later. 4-pointer. Simple as. Simple as.
No, that's a fair point. So that is Hull Warrington anymore. Have we got any social media? Are we all right with that? We're moving on.
Warrington,
very good.
People, hopefully.
But a team in worse fare than Hull would be Catalan.
They would.
I would say.
Hammered at Wigan yesterday.
But that's, again, 2 defeats in 3 games, is it? 46.
That was great, because last week I said I thought Hull would give Warrington a game, and I thought Catalans would give Wigan a game, so I did really well last week.
Kids out for Wigan as well, didn't they?
You wouldn't have predicted that, would you?
Well, and what was it? It was 8-0 at half time.
I think the first thing at half time to pay credit to Wigan is that for all the excuses of other teams that they have injuries, Wigan have as many injuries as most. They are now again blooding some of their really talented young players that have come through their system, like Morgan Smithies, who have made a real contribution to this game. Not use that as an excuse. Adrian Lamb, who perhaps we thought might have been a little bit over generous when his team played at Warrington and lost and said, no, I've seen the signs of revival.
Yeah.
He was right.
Is it going to be his Brian McDermott moment at Cass when he said, look, we can still win? And they did.
It could well be. I think that's a really important win for Wigan, particularly with the fact that they were so dominant in that game with a very inexperienced pack. I'm not sure Adrian Lam is right saying he's got the best back five in the competition. I think maybe St Helens edge them on that, possibly even Warrington do. But there's clearly a confidence from a performance like that. On the converse side, I just don't know where Steve McNamara goes now, because everything he said after that home defeat to Salford, he repeated yesterday.
Well, look,
it's all about
from
attitude.
my point of view, right? They've brought in Sam Tompkins, great player. I think any club in Super League, if they'd had a chance, probably would have gone for him, right? They've brought him in. They've brought Matty Smith in. They got rid of Drinkwater, who, for whatever reason, it worked at Catalan. Got them to the cup final. They had Kenny Edwards coming off the bench. And we talk about the subs thing. Kenny Edwards playing, every time I've seen him, he's a shadow of the guy that I saw play last year.
Absolutely, but also as well, Mark, right, when you talk about the spinal side, which was very, very happy last year.
Well, Gijo or Gigo,
at fullback, and
he's playing like someone's nicked his sweets.
Oh,
and he don't want to be there.
Absolutely.
And I just think
and
they need to
style
sort
of
it
play
out.
doesn't suit.
I think they need to sort it
well,
out.
well, that's it,
It's easy to say, Matty Smith, is he yesterday's man? I watched him at Hull KR, it was bloody awful. You know, they won despite of him, not because of him. And I'm looking and thinking, have they got it wrong? And I think they've got it wrong. And I think they need to say, right, Tony, you're going back to fullback. Sam, you're going to have to play at half-back.
Correct,
and we're just going to have to mend and make do.
But also too, what is it? Lange's surname, is it? You know, when you looked at the time last year, Drinkwater, Lange, and Gijo on the fullback. How well did they play?
Yeah.
How well was the understanding? How well was the communication? And as you've mentioned now, and I mentioned it last week on the show with Gijo, you know, Gijo should not be anywhere near the halfback because he's a maverick player. He ain't got a clue how to organise. You know, so put him back at fullback, and Sam, yeah, all right, put him at number 6 on there, but then you still got somebody who's unhappy in Lange. But Matty Smith, if I'm honest with you, why the hell did they sign him in the first place?
Andy says Catalans on paper are a shoo-in for the top 5, but what they serve up at the moment is shocking. Elsewhere, Tim says that Catalans pack should not have been nilled against that Wigan pack. Something very wrong there.
But you see now Bernard Gwash has got a problem because does he stick with McNamara, who we said at Easter last year was a game away from losing his job, but he delivered a trophy. So does that buy him extra time, or do they have to be cutthroat and say this needs to change? We're going to change it now.
I just think the issue for Catalan at the moment is they seem to be playing a style of play that really doesn't suit them. It's not just those key players that seem to be unhappy.
But is that because of the halfback?
I don't know. It's too forward dominated. The French teams thrive on unpredictability and flair.
Weren't they forward
and
dominated last year? But when they got in the right areas, they'd sling it around.
But the trouble
do
is,
whatever. Now it's like
we've talked about teams that have benefited from going down to 8 interchanges. Catalan look like the team that have
struggled with it.
Not coped with this.
Yeah. What do we say?
Because
Kenny
there's
Edwards
too many
come on, and
big
used to
men.
go, here we go. He's going to smash somebody in the back. He don't do it. He's not the same threat now.
Right then, well, think about this one then. Think about this one. When Kieran Cunningham won at St Helens, who did he make his top signing?
Yeah, Smith.
Who did he make his top signing? Under Kieran Cunningham and Matty Smith at halfback, how boring was St Helens?
No, they struggled. Right? Yeah, they struggled.
Matty Smith has been brought to Catalans for that winning mentality, that consistently so-called winning mentality, week in and week out. It's too boring. They don't want to play that way.
This is not Matty Smith because when Wigan won the grand final that year, they had all them injuries. He was the one bloke that played every week and probably got them at that grand final.
But that was a structured side. What he was more comfortable with. What he's doing, Matt, right, is bringing a structured game plan to sides. St Helens don't like structure. Well, yeah, you got to play to a little bit of structure.
Yeah.
Catalans don't like structure, and that's the big problem. That's a big problem.
I just think it's the wrong sign.
It is.
You need to get the ball to the flair players when they need them, and that's not happening at Castleford.
Correct.
I think the other thing as well that's an interesting contrast is you talk about Gareth Ellis doesn't play, and having won 3 games when he is in the playing squad, he doesn't play and they plummet. Sean O'Loughlin didn't play for Wigan this week, and the young kids still stepped up to the mark. I think that's the difference for me. Not that it's necessarily about attitude. It's about how you cope when the guys who are your totem players are not there. Hull couldn't cope with it. Wigan clearly did.
Well, this is what I said to Phil. This is what I said earlier. When you've got injuries, right, and so Wigan promoting these young kids, it's a matter of saying, hey, listen, go on then. Get out there, put a marker down. You tell me that you're good enough to play Super League in the first place, and if you're playing it at a decent level, you play it well, you keep the jersey. It's as simple as that. So it's called competition for places.
But also, and it's great that Joe Burgess is back, and suddenly that left-hand side of Wigan's is not only a real threat, but defensively and on attack, they're really, really hard to break down. It's more to do with the fact that the kids who are coming in, like the Morgan Smithies, I want everything. They want to prove that the chance that they've been given is the one that they've been waiting all their career for. I don't see that in many of the Hull youngsters at the moment. It's almost like there's a fear. Whereas at Wigan, you get the impression from listening to Adrian Lamb afterwards that the moment he enjoyed the best was when Morgan Smithies laughed at one of the opponents. He's on his debut. The kid's 18. He's just come out of the England Academy International squad. He's relishing the opportunity to be on that pitch. And that is to Wigan's credit. But I think Catalan now, what do they do?
I think just that point, I think that comes down to what Scully said earlier about you get the feeling with the kids at Wigan is if they do well, they will get some more games. You get the feeling with the kids at Hull, they're there because we've got no one else. It is literally, well, we've got no one else. So that's what it feels like.
I go back to the point about how many of the Hull kids that have come through have been let go. I think at Hull there is no security of tenure for a young kid.
No.
Because you can get 3 or 4 games, you can be a Brad Fash, and then suddenly you're on your way.
Yeah. So Catalan then.
In crisis.
They are now. Again, they're 2 points off third, but they cannot win away from home. Barring at Hull KR, but
again, mate, this is what I said just earlier. It's the inconsistency of all the teams, isn't it? Apart from Helens and Warrington, all the other sides.
Do we have to get used to? And this happens in the NRL where teams, the ones that are 5th downwards, will lose as many as they win. And we want a competition where we don't know who's going to win every week. But with Catalan, we know they're going to be decent at home and rubbish away. You know, I don't know what that says about them.
At the start of every season, we all say Catalan will be a top 5 team if they can cure their away team troubles.
And they never do.
And we always say this will be the year. Now they've won something. Now they've recruited guys who know what it takes to be winners. And we're a quarter of the way into the season, third of the way into the season. Catalan's away form is as bad as it's been since they were put in the league.
I had a bit of a Twitter spat last
night
with James Gordon, who said, "What's the point in Catalans?" And I'm like, "Well, that's a bit short-sighted, really, isn't it? You know, they won the Challenge Cup last season. They're not."
Absolutely.
I just thought it was a bit of a short-sighted comment to make.
What's the point of most teams?
Well, if you're going to be like that, exactly. That's the I just didn't see the relevance of it, and they're struggling, but they're still, again. And this is why we can't write anyone off. They're 2 points out of the top 4.
Exactly.
5 even.
That's all the inconsistencies of everybody. Like you look at Leeds. Leeds win this week, and then there could be 2 points out of the fight. That's the way it is.
Yeah. So do we have to get used to the fact that teams are going to lose?
Which is what
we know. At the minute, Saints Warrington are cut a ball at the minute.
They're in the fight.
Are we going to have to get used to the fact that Castleford will lose 2 in 6?
But that's what we're trying to achieve. That was the whole idea of bringing in the 8s. That we wanted more uncertainty of outcome.
Yeah.
Well, my only worry is that as the season goes on and injuries take more of a toll, and as does fatigue, which it will after the Easter period, and that we're not determining the table by the strength of the relative squads. But at the moment, prediction leagues are going out of the window because we are getting 2/3.
We're in the Catalans. They've scored 110 points in 8 games.
Which for a French team is nonsense. That prides itself.
Prediction went out the window. I got 5 out of 6 this week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well done, Ledge.
5 out of 6.
Well done.
Do you know what? I tipped Hull to beat Warrington as well by 7.
Yeah.
You both
you got your
70 out.
You got the drop goal.
I'm 70 out.
70?
Yeah. Could have said Hull by 7.
No, yeah, but they only lost by 51, didn't they? They only lost by 51.
Yeah, but Warrington could have got 90 if they wanted.
I'm trying to work. Did you tip Salford though?
Oh.
You?
No, I changed my mind on me.
That's all right.
When he got home,
on here you tipped Salford.
Do you know what? No, I got tipped by 10 on my predictor, on my press one. No, I didn't. I predicted Wakefield by 10, Rich. Change that.
And by the way, you are actually behind me, and I've been rubbish the last few weeks.
So
You're behind me. On our prediction. He's tough. Surprisingly, the man who puts the numbers
but also it's a conspiracy, and that's why I'm at the bottom.
It's almost like Leeds getting Thatto Heath in the cup.
Which is coming up. Don't forget live at.
You know what? I hope they do get Leeds. The Thatto Heath will want to go Headingley, won't they?
Or even St Helens.
Actually, I did say last week I thought they'd beat North Wales on the show. I did say I thought they'd win.
Well,
they can't get Saints this time, can they?
No, but they play at Saints.
Oh,
They might
sorry.
think-
Sorry, my fault, yeah.
What were you
well
saying,
done
Phil?
to them.
If Leeds get fatter, if we'll beat Leeds? Could get Saints in next draw. Is that what you're saying, Phil?
No,
Is that
I
exclusive?
said
Not Leeds,
Fato,
though.
he
Well, as
could
long as-
play at St
as long
Helens.
Get that cake checked out. Get that cake checked out.
I don't-
You've
I
been to
don't-
Amsterdam again.
I think you need to get your hearings.
Have you been to Amsterdam again, Phil?
As long as Leeds don't do as reportedly Bradford did yesterday and stick a load of kids in and nearly lose to Keighley. You've got to take these games
I was
seriously.
surprised by that. 14-12, wasn't it? Well done to Keighley. Well done to Hunslet as well, who made Halifax sweat, didn't they? 28-24 in the end.
The interesting question is, for clubs in League One and the Championship who aspire to perhaps getting out of those divisions as their priority, is the 1895 Cup going to be more of a priority now? Because the Challenge Cup, they're probably not going to get much further. They want a payday, I get all that. But why wouldn't they put their kids in? Because they still get the chance to win 3 games and go to Wembley, have a financial day out, because as you've said
Yeah,
before,
but I'm not being rude.
is it
I'm
devaluing
not-
the Challenge Cup for
Well,
teams
no, I think-
aspiring teams in the Championship?
No,
and
I
League
think
One?
it's a calculated gamble from John Kay, because I'm sure there'll be pressure on at Bradford. They would want Leeds at home in the cup, big payday, get some money. Clubs need the money. The clubs at the top need the money, so they will want to be in the cup. I mean, some great games, wasn't it? Whitehaven 21, Rochdale 22, Working in 21, Newcastle 20.
Some great
Don't-
games. But what
don't
about
go
the
last minute,
attendances?
then,
Well-
Newcastle will have a new coach. Simon Finnegan
yes.
appointed yesterday.
Who's
Simon Finnegan, he was the assistant at Toronto. He's now the
Oh, he's got the Toronto.
coach at Newcastle, presumably under Dennis's tuition.
I tell you what, the Bulls were lucky. You see, my Keighley in
Well,
Sarah.
still your Keighley. They're still
They were
latched onto them.
they were dead lucky. You see, the Bulls to beat Keighley.
They're not as good.
Yeah, I'm still suing Keighley. Yeah, I've got them in court this month.
Bulls the bestest team ever.
We could have done with them winning then. You might have got a few quid.
that'll-
Anyway, we can't talk about that.
No,
Let's move on. No, we're not talking
They had
about
a good crowd, so we're all right.
it. All right, good stuff. 1800. What's happening on social
Well, Chris
media?
says, where can you see the cup draw? Here.
We're going to draw it out.
We'll bring you the cup draw.
Coming soon at 7 o'clock. Well, it'll be a bit later than that. You know what these things are like. Elsewhere on social media, let me go to YouTube actually, because we've got some comments on there as well. KPW81 says, I think the Catalan away form is a bad argument as the league evens out, which is what we want. You'd expect more teams to struggle more away from home.
Fair enough.
Point.
God help Hull then.
Oh, this is my friend with the Irish name. I always get it right. I think wrong. I think it's Neve. Says, I guess Lewis Bieniek, give me all the easy names, is regretting signing for Hull now that he's turning out for Batley. What's wrong with Batley? Should have stayed in London. He could be playing in Super League.
Yeah, he didn't know at the time, did he? Made a decision, and that's life, isn't it? You know, can't help. You know, it's one of them things. It'd be interesting why he ain't getting a game at Hull. You know,
It is a way they're playing. Without a doubt.
yeah. Anything else?
We got up to 316 in the Luxembourg podcast charts last week.
Is that a high?
Might be, so that's good news.
Up 84 from last week.
Wait for the 4020, the Man of Steel votes to come through, because that's always a highlight of the programme these days as well.
Very good. Very good. Get in touch on YouTube. Thanks everyone. We've had loads of subscribers recently.
Yeah, which is
haven't we?
great.
Which
and,
is good.
We're
So
making
keep
money
subscribing.
Now. We're making money.
Yeah, we made about 60p last week, courtesy of
Well,
YouTube.
are you ready?
And then Genghis email. When are you gonna start spending all this money now? You've got adverts.
Yeah.
Like we've got 60 pence. What are we gonna do with it?
I think
we
that
haven't even
probably
got it
requires a
yet.
board meeting.
We haven't
Yes.
even got it yet.
60p.
But now it's gone up because people are watching our content. Because
I think it went on the cake, if I'm
Which is
perfectly
good.
honest.
Won't even get us a
He hasn't
kebab.
even eaten his cake.
I will do when the tea comes up. We won't even get us a kebab to share. Well, it's 60 pence.
For little
£3.23.
I put more than that in that box.
£3.23.
Oh, come on!
Basically, all you need to do is go watch our videos when you're at work.
Just leave them running.
Open an incognito window, watch all our videos on there, click on the adverts, and we'll make some money, and everyone's a winner. You don't have to do anything. I mean, you might get sacked, but we can't do it. It's not our fault.
But you can't sue us because we only got £3.23.
exactly.
Such is life.
And
But
it's,
thanks to everyone that has
Yeah.
subscribed. We do
It's much
appreciate it.
We do.
the problem is we need about 7 billion more people on Facebook before we can make money on there. So don't watch the videos on Facebook, watch them on YouTube instead.
Okay.
Talking of the women's launch,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
and they've announced
2 pages in the paper today. Look at that in League Weekly. It's great. Our friend Zoe.
what was the channel that they're going to broadcast some games
Twitch.
on? That all the
Twitch. I understand this is the kids know all about Twitch. I don't know what it is. I
But
understand
that's
lots
good,
of
isn't
games.
it?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's the first
Well,
indication that
I have heard.
the RFL is appealing to online platforms.
I'm being facetious. I understand that it's very popular with gamers and stuff. There are lots of people stream their games. On
Yeah,
there.
I think
But
my
this is what
son's
kids
got
watch it.
something on there. Yeah.
So this is a popular thing. And as soon as they said, that, I thought this is good because it's what have we been saying for ages on this program.
But I think there is a realisation both within Super League and the RFL that not only is the world moving forward and we need to be part of it, but for all the criticism that they have had, and we have rightly asked questions in the past about their media strategy, there clearly is one. I think that is the first indication that we should be a little bit more uplifted by what may well happen in 2021, that there are some contingency plans. It's not all about the Sky deal. It's not a foregone conclusion that Sky are definitely not going to give the sport any money, but to be announcing now almost 2 years out that the Women's Super League is going to be seen on a platform that appeals to the younger generation is something to be commended.
What would be helpful though, and both papers are guilty of this, the kick-off times are different in both papers. Now, I only know Leeds and Wakefield kick off at 1 because Leeds have been tweeting about it and Wakefield have. And I've gone on Leeds' website and it says it kicks off at 1 o'clock. But in the paper it says 2 o'clock. They're having a family fun day on Sunday at Wheatwood Hall
Very good.
Sports Park. And you can meet
On the Ring Road.
Trent Merrin, heard of him, if
Yeah.
he's got the St
Touch
George
the
badge.
badge,
Yeah.
so he's staying.
Richie Myler, Scott's favourite.
He's got a week off this week.
Yeah,
so
Scott's
he'll
going
stay a bit
to
longer.
be going down and have a selfie with Richie Myler. Lois Purcell off the telly. She was
Yeah.
very good, by the way. People are idiots. Again, don't even go into that. My favourite player, Danica.
Yeah. Very good.
John Wayne's going to fall off.
Very good. No, look, we were. I was tweeting about this the other day. I feel quite proud that we did stream that women's game previously elsewhere, and thanks to the people elsewhere for making that happen as well. I think that's been a turning point. I really do in the women's game, and it's kicking on now, and it's got credibility. I saw Brian Moore was tweeting today, wasn't
Yes.
he, about
Yeah,
Tweeted
people
back.
need to realise that women's sport is the future of all sports now. You've got to get with it. You've got to back it. I hope when they do have games on that they are at a time when fans of all the other clubs can watch and not buried amongst. I think that's one thing they do need to do, and they might have done that. I don't know. I've not seen the kick-off times.
They're all generally lunchtime-ish.
Yes, which when we were talking to him, we said, look, you've got to give it its own its own little space so that we can all watch it and then go to the game. If we want to watch it at home, 12 o'clock, we'll go to the game at 2, watch our game in the afternoon, and everyone's busy watching the games, and that's what we want, you know. So good luck to them with that. And it is, you know, you've got lots of content this week. That's going to be going out, isn't it, on the website
next
and
few
everything.
days and stuff. Yeah, so
On the old YouTube.
keep your eyes out and got to see it. I think it's the premiere or whatever you call it of.
I think it was the UK premiere.
Which is.
Go on, and tell us about it,
it's
because
a
you
film-
seem quite moved by
Well,
it.
yeah, I think it's lack of sleep. That's what I'm going to blame.
Oh,
No,
not some of these cakes.
I'm
I'll get you
going to
going.
eat some in a minute. It's the story of Papua New Guinea, right? So you remember the World Cup in 2017?
The Orchids.
Yeah, remember we nearly won the World Cup. So there's a Women's World Cup on as well, but that wasn't on the telly because we didn't care about women's sport in 2017, but we did find it in 2018. And I guess if you look at it a sconce in a sense, it's a bit of a shambles to have a World Cup and then invite the team to play with 2 months' notice. But hey, welcome to Rugby League. So Papua New Guinea had to set up a women's team, which they didn't have before, with 2 months' notice pretty much, playing in a World Cup. They have lots of women's teams, but not an international team. So they set up this team. It's about their journey, because that's a popular word these days, from scratch to playing in the World Cup, how they got there, the effect it has on the players, but more importantly on the people back in Papua New Guinea, because I only know Papua New Guinea from what people have said about it. I've never seen it. And when you see it on screen and where some of these people live and where we live and the lives we have, it's a very humbling thing. And these people have to make a lot of sacrifices to play rugby league, you know, this greatest game of all that we keep calling it. And what they have to do and the abuse they were getting on social media, because they lost to Australia. Their first ever games against Australia. I think, oh, jeez.
Nice curtain raiser.
Welcome
Yeah,
to the World Cup.
Thanks, fixture planners.
So
Yeah.
the great thing about the film is that this the narration is pretty much the local radio station who says comes on to the game. Well, the PNG Hawkins got thrashed yesterday by the Gillaroos. You're thinking, oh, it's not
What
really
score was
narration. 44-6 or something. You're thinking, yeah, it's not bad.
Not a bad score.
I said they could
Not a
probably
bad
beat
score.
Hull.
Hull got
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go to Australia, and it's the story of them at the World Cup, and it's great. And it's not about rugby league. It's a rugby league film that's not about rugby league, and you should watch it. It's really good. There's an interview with the director Joanna Lester on our YouTube, and there's clips of the filming that as well. It's a proper sports documentary. It's really good. It's really, really good, and it is emotional.
I think
because
there are going to be some other screenings as well. So
Yes.
if you're on Power
Detail,
Merry,
yes.
which is MRI website, there's certainly one in London and one in Leeds coming up.
it's very. It'll hit you in the feels, as the kids say these days.
You say a lot of kids speak.
I know.
What are you doing?
Trying to get a
Spends
job on
too much
Radio
time
1
on
on
social
social.
media.
Yeah, he does, doesn't
I
he?
think it's. You go back to the World Cup in 2013. It was last one over here, wasn't it? You see the Cook Islands playing, you see Tonga and whatever, and these countries are millions of miles away. Couldn't even point you out to them on the map. But these people are all the same as us. They're all rugby league people. We're all the same, and you see these people who have to give up a lot to play the sport. You think, yeah, we need to encourage these people.
It's also about the empowerment of women.
It
in
is.
a
That's
country
the most
where
important
women are
message
downtrodden.
about the film. Yes.
So I think not only are they playing rugby league and the difficulties of putting a team together at short notice, but it's gaining respect for
Yeah.
women in sport in a country where that doesn't automatically exist. So I think that's part of the subtext as well.
And no one
Good
comes
stuff.
out afterwards and say all our best players were out injured. just had a go.
Give him a couple of years.
Spoiler alert: they lose. They don't win any games in the World
Well,
Cup, but
come
they
on.
had a go.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
Come on, we're not judging him on that, are we?
And you can see England score a try in it as well, which is good.
All right,
Because
okay.
England are in it.
Very good, very good.
The cup draw's on soon, so stay
Okay.
tuned for the cup draw.
What time are we on?
It's on at 7 and it's 6:57.
Okay.
Who's doing it? Do we know? Who's doing the
Martin
job?
Afine, it's in London.
Oh, well, obviously it's in London. And who else has got?
Don't know. Right, let's move on. What do you want to talk about next, people? Let us know on Twitter at Forty20 Live. You can get in touch on the old Facebook through YouTube.
But to get it out of the way, Daniel wants to talk about the Summer Bash, which is now on television.
Oh, it is,
Which
yeah.
it was-
After that
it
big
wasn't-
uproar there, it wasn't
yeah.
on the telly.
No,
it's
he's
now
on telly.
Yeah,
Shock.
so that was...
And talking about the clash with the game at the New Camp. Well, there's nothing to do about that, is there? I don't know.
Well, how has the game at the New Camp been affected by Wigan's thrashing of
Well,
Catalans Dragons this week? Will that stop some people going?
I wouldn't have thought so.
I hope.
Come to Blackpool. Is that the Aaron Marsh campaign? Don't listen to Robert Elston. Don't go to Blackpool. Come to. Don't listen to him. Don't go to Barcelona. Come to Blackpool instead. Wigan versus Catalans will be rubbish. Come watch Rochdale Swins.
Yeah, it's been interesting as well watching social media this week. Robert Elston's been getting a bit of grief, hasn't he, really? But we've asked questions of him, so I'm not going to criticise anyone for asking questions.
Oh,
I think if you are going to ask questions, it's important you've got the right information.
yes.
But it's also my understanding, Phil, that there are going to be some deals, some big deals announced in the next couple of weeks,
Yeah.
or maybe the next month or so, that are going to introduce a lot more revenue into Super League over the next few
Which is-
seasons.
The building up to getting the best television deal you can from our primary broadcast partner will be built around the essential feel of what the sport is at the moment, and that's partly down to the commercial partners you can draw to it. Hopefully it's not just renewals, although that is very important, it's some new names as well. But I think there's a feeling within the RFL as well that there's going to be some announcements this week coming out of the governing body, which are all going to be pretty positive. Might again be around possible commercial side of things, but also the coverage side. There's a feel at the moment that if the sport can get its act together in terms of its appeal off the field to new partners, television companies, the latest figures from Sky on Super League games and Toronto is quite encouraging. I think even Sky themselves have been surprised that each week there are more and more people tuning into the Toronto games, that there's a bit of traction there.
But why
But we weren't
is that then?
We need to cash in on that.
Yeah, because a lot of teams play on Fridays. There
Yeah.
are a lot of fans at home
Yeah.
on a Sunday.
Yeah.
What do we say? If you put it on when people aren't at games, they'll
Absolutely.
watch the games, won't they?
And it's
They
the,
are-
it's the same with the app as well, that if you get the games on at the right time, people will sit at home and watch them. And I think the important next staging point for Robert Elson, apart from any announcement that he's going to make about what potentially a new commercial partners, is the attendances on Good Friday. Because the one of the things he did say when he did his 13 points to judge me by was he would like to get a sellout of the Good Friday derby. Now, obviously, there's a limit to what the governing body can do. Some of it's got to be the clubs, some of it's got to be the form of the clubs. It's Wigan are on the up, Saints are there to be knocked off. All the ingredients are there to have a sellout. Now, if he can, on the back of introducing commercial partners as well, the health of the sport suddenly looks very different. And I think that, don't judge him until you can actually measure him. And that's why we've said, you know, we wouldn't either try and interview him or you know, allow him to present a manifesto. You just got to prove yourself, and at some point, you need to be able to quantify what you're saying, rather than just criticise for the sake of criticising. And we've never done that.
I think it's very difficult to compare viewing figures at the moment with the past, because the world in broadcasting is swiftly changing. You know, years ago you had 4 channels.
Well, gone are the days 20 million people watch Only Fools and Horses.
You've got
for
Netflix,
instance.
you've got YouTube, you've got a million different ways of watching and consuming media than live sport these days. And if it's not a game you fancy, you might not watch it. What was interesting though, having looked at the figures for last week, just because I was checking something, was that our Friday night games do better, or last week, whatever game that was, than the rugby union game on BT. I don't know, BT do a lot more promotion of their rugby union coverage than Sky do of Super League, because they've got more things to promote on Sky. I know Sky could promote rugby league more, but they do have a lot of properties to plug. So that was pleasing, although everything gets beaten out by darts, has to be said, on a Thursday. But, you know, the Toronto games, they get about half of what a Super League game gets. So there's still questions to be asked for the future broadcasting of the Championship stroke League One, and what people think there's going to be from it. There's not going to be the money people think there is, because the money is not out there for second stroke third tier sport. It just isn't outside of football.
But there are some outlets for it, and I think
yes.
one thing the governing body are confident about, if you can be at this stage, is that they think there are other partners out there, of which obviously this Tinder or whatever it is.
Tinder, hold on.
I don't know.
No wonder what he's doing on his phone down here.
trying
He's
to
got
get the
bloody
cup draw.
Tinder on it.
I don't even know what
Don't
it
give
is.
me that cup draw, Rugby. That's not cup draw. I mean, so we can see what you're doing.
Rugby league players on Tinder.
Eh?
Concerning.
There you go. Right, anyway, breaking news.
Well, yeah,
and it's not the cup draw.
No, because like Phil is trying, I can't get it to work.
Right, go on, let's get
it's
the
Man of Steel time.
Steve Prescott Man of Steel.
See if anyone's written any things this week. Anyway, Leeds Rhinos, 3 points, Brad Dwyer. Talk about after time in there.
No, he was good.
He was good,
Dwyer
yeah,
was
he was
good.
good,
But he
Dwyer
wasn't.
was
He
good.
wasn't man of the match.
Who should have got the 3 points? Got
Jack
the 2 points.
Walker.
Trent Merrick.
No, Jack Walker should have got 3.
Well, you'll be
Trent
pleased to know
Merritt,
that Jack Walker got 0 points. 1 point for Conrad Hurrell for running through the cast defence like he was Luke Thompson running through the Leeds defence. Hull FC versus Warrington Wolves. 3 points, Blake Austin. 2 points, Stephen Ratchford. 1 point, Chris Hill.
What? No Hull player got a
No.
mention?
Hackett Maloney wasn't.
Barry Mack, because he said on telly, he was the expert for the Man of Steel there.
Saints versus Hull KR. 3 points, Luke Thompson. 2 points, Lachlan Coots. We were supposed to mention him and how, but he's been playing as well.
No, he's
No,
playing.
well, we
Hey,
need to get to Saints.
my next point for the Man of Steel is the Hull derby. So
Are they going to let you in?
if I don't pick any Hull players, I'm going to get ripped into again, aren't I? So that's my next appointment.
Well,
the
to be
Hull
fair,
derby.
for the play they did on Friday, you won't have to.
1 point, Great Britain international potential game. Kane Lynette.
Yes.
Warrington, Wigan versus Catalans. 3 points, Joe Burgess. No one's written any notes this week, disappointing.
No.
2 points, Oliver Gilder. 1 point, George Williams. We should just do a graphic and stick up on Twitter like everyone else does. London, Huddersfield. Lee Gaskell, 3. Derek Ikakahifo, 2 points. Alex Walker, 1. And Wakefield versus Salford. He's bringing it on. Big Dave, 3 points. 2 points, Danny Broth. 1 point, Ryan Hampshire. David Furphy.
Very good. Right, let's talk about St Helens then. They beat Hull Kingston Rovers 36-24. Lachlan Coote is another overseas player that seems to be fitting into life in Super League quite well.
Well, I guess, as I keep mentioning before, he's got a coach, and I say, when I went to Australia, a coach who literally knows how good you are, knows what gets the best out of you, and he's letting him play what he sees. And he's got a smile on his face, he'll be enjoying exactly the team around. The players have took to him straight away, he's took to the club straight away, took to England straight away. And it makes it a lot easier for himself. And the big thing is, the coach is letting him express himself, and that's why he's playing that well. It's as simple.
They made a few changes since the night. They put
Yeah.
a couple of young lads in, and it looked a bit hairy at one point, but they got the job done, and that'll be a good learning experience.
Well, you looked at the scorelines after, 20 minutes, 16-0, thought, yeah, well, obviously the queue in the rack, or okay, or they've not even got on the bus. But, and then within, another 16 minutes, okay, so, 18-16, what's going on here? Why they're having their oil digs, So I think, first of all, to Hull KR and the players, yeah, well done. You turned up, and certainly all the Hull KR fans who went to that game, and the ones who didn't, were delighted with the effort and commitment what you did show. But Saints just showing the class, that, what a fixture where they could let some of the young lads in and have a go. But Justin Holbrook will know that at times, it could bite him on the bum a little bit if you rest too many of the senior players from there. Job done, got the 2 points, but Ulkinson Rovers, they had a real dig.
If like Phil, by the way, you've forgotten your password for the BBC website, don't panic. I've got the drawer up now, so I can tell you when it happens.
Good man.
All right. Well,
I'm just struggling with what my gender is.
It is buffering, but
very good. Hull Car. I mean, they play Leeds this week. But they had a good goal, didn't they?
Yeah.
We saw the teams when we thought, they've got a chance. They weren't quite strong, I thought.
it's like Saints in the win over London. I mentioned it in the predictions last week. They beat them 26-0 because they just got the job done, and maybe that's what they thought again this week. And it'd be interesting to see how Warrington prepare for their game with London this week, whether they use the opportunity to rest a few players or not. But Saints won. They got the job done. They're still top. They're still unbeaten. That game in a couple of weeks going to be a big one, and Thursday's a big test now for Hull KR because Leeds
could go above them.
They could go above them. They're still not out of the woods, despite what people say. They only won one game, but I know we've not talked about Leeds yet, but it's almost as if I don't want to watch the highlights of Keithley and Bradford. I watch them draw. Get on with the draw. Get on with the draw.
It's like Gogglebox in reverse.
Can we
He's watching the telly.
Dave Woods, get on with the draw.
But also as well, Rich, you mentioned there, about maybe Warrington resting some players. I tell you what, the Warrington players have been saying to Steve Price, I don't want to rest. I don't want to rest. I want to just keep playing because at the end of the day, that's what they're trained for. That's what they're trained for, and they train. So there's something at the end of the week for them. And the end of the week is quite simple. They're prepared to professional rugby league players, and they want to play. They don't want to rest.
I think the important thing for St Helens and Justin Holbrook was that he did see something in his fringe squad players who we wanted to give a chance to, that they had a lot of character, that they went ahead early, they went behind by half time, but they managed to step up and find whatever it is he wanted out of them to get the victory, and that is going to stand Saints in really good stead towards the end of the season. And I think the mistake that he probably wouldn't acknowledge publicly, but I think is one of the things that they will have reviewed over why they didn't achieve what they should have done last season, is perhaps they didn't make the best use of the resources they've got, because maybe he didn't have sufficient confidence in some of those lower down numbered squad players. Somebody like Kyle Amor, who came in, relished the opportunity because he's not been a first choice this year, and scored a very important try and said how much he relished being part of the match day team again. That if he needs to call on Kyle Amor in a big game, that marker's now there. Some of the young kids that came in, that marker's there. And I think that the Lachlan Coote thing is a really interesting story, because everybody assumed that when Ben Barber went, that X factor would go. And I think what we're seeing now is sometimes the sum of the parts is more than the individuals, and Coote's style just really seems to suit this St Helens team. And he might not be as flashy, and he might not be getting the 3 points every week for the Man of Steel, but he's the glue that's holding that team together at the moment. I think their recruitment has been absolutely superb.
But also as well, what Lachlan Coote is doing as well, certainly from a kicking game, is taking the pressure off the halfbacks. Because the halfbacks are positioning themselves as though they are going to be doing the kicking game, but Lachlan Coote's standing a little bit deeper, so they can't get to him. So he's taking over there. But I'm just looking 2 or 3 weeks ahead when Warrington play St Helens, fellas. I tell you what, the clash between the front rowers is going to be worth the admission money alone. Hill and Cooper against Thompson and Walmsley. That's going to be worth the admission money alone, hasn't it?
Well, what about the hookers, Clark and Rover?
There you go then. There you go. And who will be saying that? We normally talk about the quality of the halfbacks. Boy, oh boy, you look at the front three against the front three. Sensational.
The pressure's on now, isn't it, at the bottom? Leeds are still bottom, but Hull KR could be bottom if they get beat on Thursday night at home. They need a win, don't they, Scully? They really need a win.
They do, and as I say, when they got beat by Catalans with a bit of a blow to themselves, and as I said after the Huddersfield game, well, even before the Huddersfield game, I said, well, Tim Sheens will be plotting the season, looking where they can beat the teams, and Leeds would have been Leeds, the way that they performing, even though they beat Castleford last week. I would imagine Tim Sheens will still have that tick in the box. He won't have just put a little question mark. He would have put that tick in there. So yeah, they need a win against Leeds, but Leeds now have to turn the corner. Still a bit of a problem. Yeah, Leeds 20 points to 4 up. Couldn't close the game down in the end.
We'll talk about that after we've got the cup draw.
But as I say, but not turn it down there. But as you mentioned, Hull KR, this is a game on Thursday. They need the 2 points and they need it desperately.
They've lost a couple of games at home by very narrow margins. So again, they need to make sure that
they're in the same boat as Leeds. They can't close games down, can they?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Don't know where our mics have gone, by the way. I think Martin Affire's got it.
All right,
Get on there.
cool. What about Wakefield? They beat Salford at the weekend, 33 points to 22. Got a bit squeaky bum time at one point for
Yeah,
Wakefield, but they got the job done, and they are now back in 4th in the table.
I was working yesterday, so I had to listen to this one rather than go to the game, and he never sounded too much like he was going to have Salford get back into it. But yeah, they had a little flurry towards the end, didn't they? Wakefield, I think they did the job in the first half, didn't they? And David Fafita scores a try, gets the 3 points. Danny Bruff apparently doing
Did
some
you see his
wonderful
reverse
kicking.
kick?
He's the best, isn't he?
For
Nice.
Jacob Miller's try.
He's they've got a
Genius.
great partnership there. Everything is working at the moment because they've lost some close games at home. They probably should have won. They lost a game against Hull KR, which was obviously due to the weather, but they haven't had a great home record this season because obviously wins against Catalans don't count now. So,
Well, they've lost 3 of 5 in fairness.
So there you go, and then they come out and they beat Salford, who are a team who, you said before, Mark, they better as underdogs than favourites, and they would have been favourites yesterday. Not massive favourites, but favourites nonetheless. They got the job done, and they've got a run of home fixtures, it seems, which is odd.
Yeah.
With Huddersfield on Friday, which is going to be a big game. With Huddersfield now picking up some form, Wigan in a few weeks as well. So, as we keep saying about all these things, it's points on the board. With how tight the league is, you just need to keep that scoreboard ticking over. They're drawing now, but the website's buffering. There's only 16 teams in it.
Okay. Wakey, Scully, I put them up top 5. I know you texted me the other week and they were getting beat, saying how rubbish they were.
Oh,
When
mate,
they
no,
lose at
Joe,
Warrington.
you talk about throwing someone under a bus. I didn't say that. I said they were rubbish for 10 minutes.
I'm apparently well behind.
I think you said top 5 my backside or words to that effect. It wasn't a complimentary
Leeds have been
message.
drawn at home to work.
Mine's well
Well,
behind.
Work.
I tell you
So
what,
Leon Price will be coming to Headingley.
pay my licence
All
fees
right,
is rubbish.
Leeds against
Halifax versus London, Thatto Heath versus Dewsbury, Widnes versus York, Hull KR Lee. That'll be tasty.
Who did Bradford get?
I don't know, they haven't done it yet.
Oh, they'll come out here.
He's just buffering so much. People are.
So working
Bradford
to couple
Featherstone.
Leeds.
Go on, Fev. Go on, Fev.
What do you mean like that for?
Sicken them. We hate the Bulls. Salford Rochdale, nice local derby.
Don't be talking.
Merge.
Nigel won't be happy
I know.
talking about his club like that.
Sorry. No, we're not in this cup yet.
Thatto Heath Dewsbury.
Yeah.
you said.
Yeah.
Which is reward for them.
Go on, read it all out then.
Hull KR Lee,
Yeah.
Widnes York,
Yeah.
which will be an interesting game. Thatto Heath Dewsbury, Leeds Workington, Halifax London, Bradford Featherstone, only for the 24th time this season, Salford Rochdale, and Doncaster Blackpool.
They could play for a cup, couldn't they?
Couple of
Featherstone.
interesting games.
Which you think they'll
I mean,
put on
Halifax,
telly?
London, or
Leeds?
surely.
Televised game, Widnes York, maybe?
No, I think they've got Halifax.
Okay, Ali, that's an interesting one. Okay, Ali.
I think the Super League boys, but London will be disappointed they're not at home, but I think they'll be reasonably pleased with that, won't they? They'll be reasonably
The
pleased.
best thing about cup draws is they're all very exciting before, and then afterwards you're like, ugh.
Where did Thatcher who? Did they play St Helens when they played the other day? Oh, the other day, didn't
No,
they?
but they could, if it was a big game, they could. I don't know what their ground is like in terms of.
But did they play the Crusaders at Thatcher?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
so,
right.
You'd think that they'd want to be at home to Dewsbury. Hey,
And Leeds working to my
First with the news.
adopted Cumbria club coming down here.
Yeah, very good. Right, we shall see how those ties go. I think they're okay.
Yeah.
You always feel a bit sorry for like working. I mean, that'd have been
I think
great
that's
to get Leeds at home.
And I think
It
that's
was
the
brilliant.
payday they want because they will get a bigger crowd at Headingley as a percentage of the game.
How many weeks of Chris Sandow do you get for a split gate at Leeds?
He's not still coming, is he?
Don't know. Right, let's talk about Leeds then. Leeds 21, Castleford 20. Golden Point win, an unbelievable drop goal. Leeds played well. I thought they played well first half, and they had that burst, 2 tries in 2 minutes, and they should have won the game easily. But they let Cass off the hook, and if we're honest, Gary, Castleford should have won. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Leeds were lucky to win, and that's not Leeds in crisis. They were lucky to win.
Well,
If Leeds were a good team, they would have won easily.
Oh, yeah,
And
I
if,
agree, yeah,
if,
yeah.
if Cass had done what they should have done, they would have won
I
themselves.
agree. And well, all right, we won by the golden point, but I'd say Leeds, well, yeah, they were lucky to win. I'm not saying they fully deserved to lose, but the fact of the matter is...
What would a draw have been a fair result?
Yeah, because the way Castleford played in the first half, Castleford were rubbish in the first half, and Darryl Powell will tell you that. But I'll tell you the reason why. Because they moved Max Shane from hooker to halfback and put Milner there. The forwards had no direction. The forwards had no shape. And then when Max Shane went to hooker from there, you could see the forwards. Yes, I know where to go now. I know I'm running hard and straight and direct, sucking in the defenders around the ruck area, and that's where they could play a little bit. So whether that's Daryl's fault or not, I guess it is.
Well, I did question it at the time when you played Turner from the start. I don't see the point in having a young kid on the bench.
I agree.
You either play him or you don't play him.
Exactly.
He played well when he
So I would imagine Daryl's learned the lesson. He won't play Max Shane at number 7 again. No way, mate. Yeah, Leeds.
Well, he won't be playing him at number 7 the next few weeks. I don't think he's going to get banned.
And rightly so, to be honest with you, because that was shocking. It was absolutely shocking, was it, to be honest with you? But anyway,
can I just say at this point, fair play to Richie Myler.
Yes.
If he goes down and makes something out of that, I think Richie
and
gets
it's
sent
reviewed
off.
by the video referee.
Yeah, I think fair play to Richie Myler. He didn't play he got on with it, and he got a crack, to be fair.
Well, he did. Well, he read running to Max Shane to say, what do you do that for? You know, what you hit me for? I'm not going to do any damage to you, you know, from there. So, yeah, fair play to Richie. Also, as well, I want to say to Ben Failer. I did this on social media. Well refereed to Ben Failer, because the players were lying in there and whatever it is. Hey, get out of the way, and this sort of thing. So, fair play to Ben Failer. I thought it was absolutely outstanding, Ben, from there. But then you look at the second half from Castleford's point of view, the last 20 minutes, outstanding. Yes, they should have won the game. And now I'm just going to point out the situation here with Max Shane, right? Because I've known Max Shane since he was 12 years of age. I've watched him all coming through from there. And it is a big problem with Paul from a point of view where when it becomes to big games, he wants to become the champion player. He wants to become with the champion player, right? And on Friday night, when it was set up with 4, they got themselves in position that when Leeds missed that kick to the thing, so they had a set of 6, got themselves in position beautifully, right?
A1.
And Truman's on the 22, literally just saying, on the third tackle,
I'm ready.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm here. Right. I was watching at Max Shane. Let me just say that if that was me playing, and it was my hooker in nowadays, Maskey, right? It was quite simple. I said to Maskey, I want it on the 4th. Colin Maskell's philosophy is quite simple. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about being the champion player and the game breaker.
His job is to get
my job is, his job is, I know what I'm doing. I will just mess around here and score wants on the 4 because I know where he is. You know what? Max Shane had no intention. He had no intention. You could look at his body language. He had no intention of giving it to Truman. And when you watched it, and when you could see him looking, you could see him looking at the dummy half all the time. And then in the end, and he said when he got interviewed, I was waiting for the shooters to come out. I was waiting for the shooters to come out, i.e. the guys from dummy half going straight there. The problem was, Mark, the shooters weren't coming out because it was on the try line. Yeah. So they couldn't get anywhere near. They couldn't get anywhere near Truman. But Max Shane had no interest at all because he wanted to be the champion player, wanted to be the champion game breaker, and that's Paul's big problem. That is Paul's big problem.
Is that why he doesn't get selected for England?
Maybe, but having said that, Roby's better than him, Clark's better than him, Hutter's better than him.
But is that because of their game management in
maybe,
moments like that?
It could maybe. But Paul has recognised that. He recognised that when he said it himself on Friday. But the problem is, fellas, it won't get out of his game because that's the sort of player he is. Will he have learned from that? I don't think he would do.
I think he will. I think that's quite a public,
time will tell.
I think that's quite a public damnation that he. If you're going to be honest, everyone's looking and saying Cass lost because of you.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I do think
but will it change?
Some people are going to say it's your Leeds bias. Leeds reject McShane, you just...
Oh, no, I'm not saying... No.
Darryl was saying afterwards that the problem that they got, obviously, with Jordan Rankin pulling out late on the captain's run, was that they've lost 3 of their major halfbacks.
Yeah.
And to come up with a style of play so late into the training week was difficult for them. And I think that was one of the reasons why he put McShane.
I agree with that, but therefore you stick with what works.
Exactly.
And even if you say we're only playing one halfback, you can put Matauti at other halfback. Everything goes through Truman or whatever. McShane, we're going to just play 5 drives and a kick.
What is he going to do now that he'll lose McShane for between 3 and 5 weeks? He's in a real quandary now with his playmakers.
Yeah. He has. He's gonna have a problem. He's gonna get banned, isn't he? He's gonna get banned.
We've had a message from.
Maskey said he used to pass to anyone but you.
Yeah.
Do you know what? He knows himself. He didn't pass the ball to me. They got up tough. Don't worry about that. Reply to him. Tell him because he knows. Well, say Mask. You know, if he didn't pass the ball to me, so you were playing A team on a Thursday night, so you did exactly what you was told.
I think
He always tells me he made you the player you were.
I wouldn't disagree with that because he gave good service. I tell you what, Maskey was unlucky not to be picked for Great Britain '88. You know, they picked Paul Groves instead. But anyway, but quality hooker, Colin Maskell. Quality hooker, dirty so no, I'll tell you. Oh, you thought that was bad with Max. You thought that bad with Max Shane on Mile. He used to do that. He used to do that in every set of 6.
I think the important thing from
Just getting up.
a Leeds point of view is that they found a way to win, because that is a team that for almost a year would have lost a game like that. So although it was one of the ugliest drop goals, although it was from the person you didn't expect,
Phil, to be honest with you, they should have lost again.
no, but what I'm saying is psychologically.
No, did they find a way to win?
They found a way to win. Yes, they did.
They should have been put away.
Yeah.
I think for 60, the 80 minutes they were the better team.
Oh, you're the better side.
Fair enough, but still didn't put the game away.
No, but whereas they have lost those games, remember the 9-8 defeat
Look,
that they had at home to Wigan last year?
My Leeds in crisis, right? They lost to London on the last minute of the game. And I thought there was a forward pass. I thought Leeds were unlucky to lose. I thought they were lucky to win on Friday.
But whether they were or they weren't, because you could have said that Paul McShane could have been sent off after 10 minutes.
He could have been.
Because he clearly has committed an offence that he's not.
He could have been.
But what I'm saying is that last set of 6 could be a season turning one for Leeds.
Delighted for Ferner. Thought he spoke really well after.
He did.
Really well. And he said he wanted the players to keep a lid on it. I questioned at the time the celebrations. I understand you've won one game in 8. You want to win.
We have beaten Castleford 12 fixes in the Super League, by the way.
Yeah, but
I
you
think
know,
They won a fairly big one, though.
Well, we won the grand final.
Yeah, but you know when people go, oh, it's Cassie's Cup final playing Leeds. Cassie's Cup final.
It
felt like it was Leeds Cup final.
I buy to that. Yeah,
and that to me was a little bit sad, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but I think.
And I'm wondering if the reaction of the players was OTT. I understand why they did it, but it was OTT. I'll have more respect for that celebration if we got OKR and win on Thursday, because that'll tell us how
if you look at people like, I mean, obviously all of the celebration was around Brad Dwyer and the people that ran on him. But if you look at people like Callum Watkins, who is slightly away from that and is the captain of a team that has been underperforming, his reaction was one of absolutely unbridled relief, more than anything else, which is why I think it's taken a weight off their shoulders.
All right, I'll go with that, right. I'll go back when it was 24 and Cass dropped the ball or something, got tackled in the touch, and they're all back stopping it, and it was really OTT. And I went, all right, I'll observe what happens. As soon as Cass scored, there were none of this backslapping. They fell apart, and they fell apart again. And that is the worry that I've got, and I think Ferner knows that as well. Hence why he was like, we've got to play it down. I'm delighted for him. I thought it was great after the game. We got stuck in it. It was unfair. We asked some questions of him 2 weeks ago, and he answered them. And he answered them again on Friday, and on Thursday. And you know what? I genuinely was pleased for him. Really was pleased.
I think he genuinely has worked extremely hard with this group of players.
I'm still not convinced with all this, and I can't make my mind up whether they are all in it together. Truly in it, or there's still a bit of. There's a fragility about. I'm not sure. Where they're at.
There is a psychological fragility about them, which is partly helped by this result. But you'll only really know when they go behind.
Well,
if they've cured it,
we'll find out what.
But they needed that moment as a group.
Oh, they
because
did.
I think
they
had
did.
they lost
they
that,
did.
had they been 24 ahead and lost, and it had been another of that list of we let one go,
no, I
don't know where their season would have gone.
And like I said, the drop goal, he went for the drop goal and he got it, so it's a good kick. It doesn't matter what it looked like. He went for it and he got it, and it's brilliant. And it was a brilliant sporting moment. The atmosphere. And I can tell you what, I cannot wait till that ground is done and it's full.
Well,
because
that
will be
Pass again when it opens.
That will be a cauldron.
I tell you what, cauldron. Do you know what as well? When the Dwight, because I thought he was outstanding. I thought, to me, he should have got the man of the match, and he did get the man of the match certainly with the 3 points and on Sky. But also as well, what I was absolutely delighted with was Dwight was saying, drop kicks. I practice them. I practice them all the time in training, and I've said it many times. Practice makes perfect. And it's like, when was the last time you saw Chip and Chase? When was the last time you saw Chip over the top? Because we're not allowed to, because if it goes once and it messes up, don't do it again. That's coming off. But I keep saying, if it don't happen once, do it again. If it don't happen twice, do it again because it will come off for you. And it will come off for you at the most important time. Well, Dwyer, even though Richie Agar's saying, what are you doing? What are you doing practicing field goals? In training, what are you doing it for? If you do it again, I'll chop your legs off. So don't ever do it because you won't do it in a game. Boy, oh boy. When Dwyer told me that, when Dwyer said that, I was absolutely clean. I thought to myself, you know what, son? Well done to yourself.
Yeah.
You backed yourself. All right. It was one of them where a little bit of luck, we would say.
When it hit it, I thought, it's going no, and it just kept going and going. It was unbelievable.
But it was like an exocet. But what I'm saying is, Brad Dwyer, when you have been told not to do it, you thought, I'll tell you what, this is my time, I'm doing it, and congratulations to him. I thought it was outstanding.
So here's a question. Richie Myler's banned for Thursday's game against Hull KR.
Yeah.
Do you play Dwyer at scrum half?
No, because he's not a scrum half.
So do you bring Lola here back?
Without a doubt. You've got to play players in the right positions, Phil.
Can I make a note of
So is Myler not playing? Is he injured? Why was he
Suspended?
No, suspended.
Myler?
Was that for the tip tackle on
One
Mellon?
game.
Oh, is Myler suspended? Oh, I didn't know. Well, you bring Lower here back then.
Yeah.
And what
that-
plays
can I-
Sutcliffe at scrum half? Because he's
Well,
not a scrum half.
well, whoever play, but you don't put Dwyer there because it'd be the same with the Max Sage situation.
I just want to make a point. Obviously, Jack Walker was outstanding.
I thought
I tell you, I thought played well. Cameron Smith, I thought he had a fantastic
44
game.
tackles.
Aggressive, yeah, but he played aggressive. He won't. No, but I won't look at him thinking he's a young kid. I look at him thinking he's a solid. He's your next JJB type.
Well,
That's how I've looked at his
He's cementing his place in the team. At the
Yeah,
moment.
playing in the back row, not at half.
Yeah, but exactly. He's playing in the right position where the kid himself will be saying, right, I'm going to prove myself.
Yeah.
He'll have that smile on his face, and he's doing
And
his
I
job.
think he
And
did
he's
that.
doing his job. What he should
And
be
I
doing.
think it helped him having JJB start as well. So you had the experienced guy and the young kid, and that's a combination that I think really worked for Leeds in the early stages.
It's all positive at Leeds this week, isn't it? So next time they lose.
Oh, it's a big game. It's a big game.
Yeah.
I might be being critical with it felt OTT. I understand why,
Yeah.
but I
They
think
needed it
if
as well.
those,
But you're right. You've got to back
if that's
it up.
genuine, then you've got to back up this
And
week.
that's what I think
And
Ferdinand was saying. That's
the
what-
worry I have is that 20 minutes.
Well, do you know what as well?
went on
Because
and they couldn't
you know,
stop it.
when
And that's the
Darryl
problem.
finished his interview on Sky, and he started laughing, and he just went, "Oh, you know what?" He says, "Oh, it's like they've won the cup here tonight." And in that quote, you could sense it down thinking, "Wait till they come down lane. Wait till they come down lane. They won't be doing this down lane." Do you know what I mean?
When Sean wins, then they'll be getting the buses down to London, that kind of thing.
Yeah, look, it was a big game. Look, if Leeds had
It's
lost,
a big win for Leeds.
Yeah,
Because as we say,
absolutely.
Mark Richardson, we know you don't like Leeds. We know you don't like
No,
Leeds.
it's
But
Bradford I don't
it's
like.
12
I like
games,
Leeds.
and we know the hiding's what we've had over the last few years. Even though we walloped Cass in the grand final, and don't say that if Zakara played, that I will know they wouldn't have done. Simple as that. Maguire ripped them apart. But it's 12 games in Super League since we've beaten them, so we're allowed to celebrate,
Well, of course
and
we
we're
are.
allowed to be joyous.
Yeah, of course
All
we
right,
are. But
and we're going to beat
all
Ulkiara
all
on
the
Thursday.
things-
I think they will.
All the things from the week before and the weeks previous that were wrong with Leeds' recruitments. You know, you get rid of Mitch Garbutt, but you sign players on longer deals in the same position or in similar positions who might be, they're all still the same questions that are still there.
I thought Merrin played well.
He played very well.
He really did.
He's very good. He's
And in
played-
fact, it was no coincidence that when he went off,
Yes.
that was it coincided with the 20 minutes when the team was less
as
solid.
we've said for the last few weeks, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's much better than people are making him out to be because people are idiots. Colin says on Golden Point, and I think both teams should get a point, and then we play off for the extra point.
Yeah.
But lots of people now are upset about this. League, it's like Brexit. You're either on one side or the other. League Weekly, they no, get rid of Golden Point. League Express, Golden Point is brilliant. What they think about Brexit, you have to make your own mind up.
The old
Should it be 10 minutes without anyone having?
Well,
a
I was
golden
going to
goal?
say,
Or
we had
golden
this
try or
in the
this or that?
NFL, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where you've got the greatest quarterback, greatest young player in the game is sat on the side because his team have lost the coin toss and he don't get a chance to influence the
But
game.
if I'm
And
right,
Cass didn't have a chance.
didn't Cass choose to kick off?
I don't know. And
So
you
again,
say that what you will. And if they did and they knew the rules, then that's betting them on the backside. But how exciting would it have been if Leeds kicked the drop? And would he have gone for the drop goal if it had been both sides score? Or both sides get possession? He probably wouldn't have done. I think it just adds a different dynamic. I think there should be a right to reply. And if they both have a set, then it's next point wins. But I think both teams should get the chance to have the ball. Didn't that happen at Wigan? Wigan didn't get a touch and they lose. I think it's a harsh way to lose.
It is, but I do think the principle of Golden Point was justified.
Yeah.
The whole
Oh,
idea that it
great,
adds
yeah, look.
drama,
Yeah, it does,
excitement,
it does.
and there is a result at
Yeah.
the end of it.
It does.
Um,
And Castleford had their chance to win and they didn't take it.
And Castleford's chance to win was in normal time. I
Yeah.
think the other argument as well about
How sick though would you have felt if Cassidy won the toss, got the ball and gone scored, and Leeds look, you think? Well,
but then by
the
the same token, and again playing devil's advocate a little bit, Cass had the opportunity to shut down that Dwyer kick. Leeds went 50 metres, 60 metres.
Well, they did.
I think the other thing about Golden Point that is an argument against it by some people that don't like it is that it becomes a drop goal-a-thon. Well, I think we found that in the last 8 minutes of normal time, it became a drop goal-a-thon. You know, Cass had 2 attempts at a drop goal, one of which they felt should have been allowed to go through, but Watts was deemed to have impeded Dwyer. The other was Sutcliffe's was wayward. So 3 times in normal time, teams went for a drop goal, and we're bemoaning that Paul McShane didn't set up for the winning drop goal.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any water in the fact that you win on a drop goal.
Well, exactly. This is a family show, so I can't actually use the word that the publisher of League Weekly has used to describe a drop goal-a-thon. But it's not quite what you said.
Well, but
It's interesting what words you can use in the paper these days.
I'm off the Golden Point. It should have been brought in years ago for me.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, it was a great experience. It was a great drama.
And you know what?
And if you were, the important thing is we're talking about new television deals, bringing new people into the sport.
Yeah.
If you're watching that on a Thursday night and you're normally a football fan and there's no game on that night and you're watching this game and it goes into Golden Point extra time and there's all of that euphoria and drama about what happens, you might just be sold on the sport.
And as I say, also as well, when it comes to it, if you lose a toss and you don't get a chance with a Golden Point, they get in the 6th tackle like Lee did. It's tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Well, you've got 6 tackles to
Simple
stop
as,
them, haven't you?
absolutely. It's tough.
You remember that I think it's still the best game we've covered. If the Royal League going back years was that 24-all draw heading between Leeds and Castleford. And at the end it's great and you think, oh, what a great game. But then there's that bit of, you feel a bit flat. I think there's a winner. There are winners and losers. It doesn't, you know. As I say, I'd give both teams a point and then you play off for the extra point. But this is the way it is. It's great, it's exciting.
No,
you get Brad Dwyer's a hero now.
Yeah, he is.
That will be replayed forever.
I wonder how many more drop goals we'll get throughout the season.
Under 1.5.
I bet you he's not allowed to take any more, but my advice to you, Brad, keep what you do in training, it'll pay off for you, and that's exactly what it did on Friday.
That's it. Right, the other game in Super League we've not mentioned yet was London against Huddersfield. I think this was one of the rare ones I got right last week. I thought Huddersfield would go there and win, and that proved it. Huddersfield have turned round, Scoy, haven't they? They've turned round. That win at Wigan has really kick-started their season, and they feel like they're scoring a lot of points at the minute. You know, they feel like a team that are playing well, and interesting Gaskell again, who you put last week, said he was the best player in the game.
I was just going to mention
again this week.
Gaskell now, looks as like he's got rid of his injury problems. The coach himself has given him the role as being the main playmaker, he's given him the role of being the main responsible man, and he's thriving on it. Absolutely thriving on it. He's getting a pack of forwards who are making the yards from there, and his organisation's good, his creativity, playing with that vision and awareness, and the players around him are reacting. Darnell McIntosh at full-back, he's good. Cruz Lehman, I've always liked Lehman from there, asking many, many questions, loads of variation around that ruck area from there. They're getting the right balance from there, but again, the main man, Gaskell, a little bit like Blake Austin at Warrington, he's taking charge, putting plenty of points on the board. Pleasure to watch.
They've got players to come back as well, which apparently are not far off. So I think that's a corner turned for Huddersfield. London, I'm not sure. They had 2 home games against Hull and Huddersfield, and we were saying if you're earmarking fixtures, one of those you're going to have to win, and they've lost both of them.
Yeah.
Admittedly, with the same qualities that they've shown all the way through the season, there's a resilience about them. They don't give in. There's a spirit, but. Do you think those 2 results are going to come back and haunt them? That those are 2 teams
that's
around
negated the Leeds win, hasn't it? Really, they needed to back that up with a win, and maybe they've got Huddersfield at a wrong. You know, if they'd have played them a month ago, they might have beaten them. But...
And the trouble is for London, they go to Warrington this week, which you wouldn't say in a prediction league they're going to win. They could be bottom of the league.
Yeah, they could be. But the thing is, given how tight, they're still in touch.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. They're still in touch. They haven't been cut adrift. But I think disappointed. I think Danny Ward, I spoke to him during the week. I think he'd be disappointed that they couldn't get over the line. I think that's a big loss for them. But we'll see. Huddersfield, though, they've got Wakey this week. And
let's credit Huddersfield. You know, we give them a bit of stick. You know, at the start, and rightly so. But they've turned it around. Wolford, you know, he's getting the response from his player, as he says. He said on radio yesterday, you know, getting over the next 2 weeks, I should have another at least 4 or 5 players back from there. His best players, So they're looking to go on the roll.
Yeah,
Like,
just when he needs them as well.
when
Busy
he-
period coming up.
when he first came over last year, we know the role what he was on. He's looking for that role again.
And a couple of players from Huddersfield coming out of contract. Again, we've criticised them in the past for their recruitment.
When's Gaskell out of contract over?
I don't know, but
I think he's got another year.
Macintosh is
Does
at
he?
the end of the year, and I need to sign him up.
Yeah. What's happening social media?
London needs to beef up their pack, says Tim. He also says Fartown have powerful forwards and a decent scrum half. Wouldn't say they are good to watch though.
Well, they won't
Needs
be
must.
bothered
Yeah.
at the minute. But I know their bench was strong yesterday. I know we mentioned it, but they had
I
a
think
strong
Alex
bench.
Mellor's the other player that's out of contract.
Okay,
They could do
scored
with
yesterday, didn't
They
he?
could do with I think the problem with Huddersfield is every year it seems like a new year, and they need to get some continuity. They need to sign up the players that are playing really well at the moment, and that's the bit that's been missing.
Daniel says we should go to do a show from Thatto Heath. I can't pronounce it right, Daniel. We are going to do something. We will do something eventually. We will.
We will.
Well, we've got
Scott's got a job now,
63p.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get subscribing on YouTube.
Yeah. Get a,
Sit as you worry.
The amount of diesel gets us to the end of the road
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
Why don't we just say we need a massive sponsor?
Yeah.
Well, I don't
We
know.
need a massive
To be honest,
sponsor.
Well, Big Nige, he's a
Don't
big
have to be
massive.
that
Can't he
massive.
sponsor us?
I've got one. Yeah, no, it's all right. Don't worry about that. Yeah. But we need a massive
He's
sponsor.
sponsoring your career, you know.
just think, you can have your logo here or here
Yeah.
or here.
Cool.
We'll
That's
wear
all-
a,
that's all
we'll
we
wear
need.
a hat
Yeah,
if necessary.
That's what we're asking for.
like
A
Donald
massive
Trump.
sponsor. 20 grand a year. Look what you get.
I've got a challenge.
That's all.
20 grand a year of getting the Challenge Cup on them.
And that's true. You get £500,000, we can set up a team.
How much are we asking for? 20 grand a year? 20 grand a season, they'll do it. So, sponsor out there. Surely, McDonald's, KFC, there's a billionaire out
What
there.
about
20
the
grand,
healthy
20 grand
option?
for the year, being a major
can have your
sponsor
own mug.
of 4020. Schofield, Kaplan, Wilson, Shawright, we're at your disposal.
Okay,
Yeah.
There you go.
Shut up.
There you go. Hey, listen, we've got to tell them we want a main sponsor, Mark.
Just think
And now we're
you
telling
can have
them.
your logo over all the videos we do from the Summer Bash that people might watch. I've got a challenge for because as we mentioned earlier, Women's Super League launches this week.
Yeah.
Go to a game. That's what we should say. We should stick a couple in the prediction league as well at the end. Just to
Go on, then
confuse
we'll
everyone.
do.
But
Why are the fixtures not on the back page, by
I
the way?
don't know, it was on the page before. It's not. I don't like criticising what's in the papers, but the League Express. I know they've got a big pull out in the magazine. They do, but in the paper today it's pathetic.
Right.
And
Well,
that's
you said it now.
It's not the people who write it. It's the people. You know, you get 400 pages of match reports of games you've seen. You get 3 pages of amateur rugby league which no one reads, and then you get nothing on the Women's Super League. But I want to challenge the clubs.
Oh,
and,
Rich in the League Express. There's a good column
and as
there.
Gary
We've got to
Schofield
plug
got everyone. Yeah, which we always say, people go to your page first, then the letters page, see if they've got the letter printed, and then look at everything else. I've got a challenge though for the clubs of the Women's Super League. Mainly, it's going to be probably Leeds and Saints and Bradford and Featherstone and Wakefield and York. So not Wigan, because those are the all ones who I understand have a controlling destiny over where they play. At the weekend, Harlequins women's team, this is rugby union, not rugby league, broke their record. There's a UK women's club record. Apparently last year was 4,542, and this year it was they broke it by getting 4,837 there. Now, brilliantly, people have swallowed this up. Actually, they put on the scoreboard tickets issued 4,837. Now, you and I can look askance at this and go, ah. So the challenge is down to one of the Women's Super League clubs. Get 5,000 people with tickets to your game this year. Because if they don't come in on the BBC website, then we need to ask questions. But this is the easiest thing to do. We saw last week in football, Juventus had 39,000 people at their game. Tickets were free.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid had 60,000 people there. All the season ticket holders going free. I think the people had a nominal charge to get in. If you give people something for nothing, and I know people will say, well, how can you say this when you say clubs have undersold themselves in Super League by giving away season tickets for £100? We're trying to build up something that people might not go watch.
I would be surprised if you got those people that watch the game that some of them won't say, I'd have paid to watch that today,
And
because
they'll
we've
go
all
back.
been to a game, and it is as a women's sport, it's the most like for like to the men's compared to the other sports.
So-
Great entertainment.
So here's the idea, and Leeds are doing this on Sunday at their home game at Weetwood Hall, and this is exactly what you need to do. You have the game at Headingley or Bellevue or wherever. This Sunday they've got a bouncy castle. Who doesn't like a bouncy castle? Discounts on food and drinks.
You'll
food and
like
drink?
that.
Yeah. Selections of children's soft drinks free of charge. I'm a child. Ronnie the Rhino. Everyone loves Ronnie.
And when you get a selfie with Ronnie.
Leeds Rhinos. If I get a selfie with Richie Miley, only got to go his book. With me. Meet and greet players. You can meet the players afterwards in a pub with a band. You've got to.
When's this?
On Sunday. I mean, it costs a
Oh,
£5
it's
a
game.
which,
Alright.
you know,
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
That's fair enough. I know, but I would say, you know, the way that Harlequins have done this, the way that the football teams have done across Europe, take a game to your home stadium, have it free entry. I know there's costs associated with having games at home, so I know you
Well, we
might.
saw with the PDRL.
Yeah.
We played. There were a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of hundred there, weren't there?
Are we making ourselves available this year again?
Well, I don't know. I've been told because I've been training, I'm not welcome.
But you know, have all
Been
this stuff.
sacked, basically.
Have all this stuff at your ground. Have all the first team players there to have selfies with. Have lots of offers on. Have free tickets. Have lots of entertainment. Make it a festival. People will go. Then we can break a record and then get in the papers.
Especially when your first team's playing on a Thursday night.
Let's actually.
Exactly.
I know there's obviously some kind of schism between the Rugby Football League and Super League, and the women's game kind of falls in the middle.
I'm
It has the name
surprised.
of
I'm
one.
surprised Super League haven't taken it. I really
It
am.
has the name of one but belongs to the other. But this is, you know, Brian Moore said it on Twitter earlier today. We mentioned it earlier. This really is an area in which we can get new eyes onto the sport, or the same eyes watching more of the products, which we need.
And new sponsors, because I think it will appeal to a different corporate entity than supports the male professional game.
Yeah.
And most importantly, the product is good.
Oh, but
That's
that's,
the main
the
thing.
the only thing that
Yeah.
defines it is that it's not comparable with anything else. It's just good in its own right.
Yes.
So that we can get 5,000 people there, stick it on the everywhere on social media, and people will believe us, and then we might get some more people. Maybe we will, maybe we not. We've got to have a try. We've got to do something. You know, Dave said on social media earlier on Twitter, we should get either, you know, because in the old days, you used to go watch the under-19s before the main
Do,
game,
do you know what I
or
think?
women's, or PDRL, or
Do you
whatever.
know what else I think is interesting about the women's game at the moment is that we've spoken a lot about making the players personalities in the men's game, but I don't see that happening.
No.
You know, I, as we said maybe last week or the week before, Tommy Makinson was a name on a lot of people's lips who didn't fully follow rugby league, but after his exploits with England and the awarding of the Golden Boot, there were people that saw him 3 weeks on that went, he's a good player, who've now completely lost sight of Tommy Makinson. We know he's great, we know he does that every week, we know his team are top of the league, but what we're starting to get is people like Jodie Cunningham, Lois Forsell, Little Lil. We've got now women's personalities who we can promote and who are doing a damn fine job. So let's get behind them.
And here's the thing I didn't understand, and this is completely off on a tangent. I was going to mention this last week and forgot. Ashton Simpson was on Question of Sport the other week. Why Ashton Sims? Why not promote
She's
someone?
got long hair.
Because he's that bloke who was funny when he was on the mic on that game for Warrington a few years ago. But why? This is. I was going to mention this last week and we didn't run out of time again. But it's someone within our sport needs to go to media organisations and say, what do you need from us? What can we do to get more people on your TV programmes, on your radio programmes? And we will do that. We had a show on national radio. And how many times do you have to beg people to come on the show?
Some clubs got it, and they'd ring you up, say, who do you want? And some clubs have no interest.
So everyone has to wait. If you want more coverage of your sport, we have to all work together to do that. You know, I was at the Wakefield press conference on Thursday. There was just me and Radio Leeds. No one else was there. So we've got to take responsibility as well. If the stories aren't getting out there, but we've all got to work together to somehow get more column interest. And the women's game is obviously the one at the moment, which is a hot button topic in the world of sport that we can get out there and get behind and actually get some promotion off. Because with all due respect to the Challenge Cup, and we love the Challenge Cup, some very low crowds this weekend for the magic of the cup.
Yeah.
We've got to find
Because
new
it's all
people.
paid.
Yeah, fair dues. Fair dues. Right, that is the old... do you want to just redo the old cup draw? Well, not redo it, but you just want to let people know who just tuned in what it is.
And by the way, Sandy, there's nothing wrong with Ashton Sims, but if I'm going to promote the sport, I'm going to promote and this is not, Brexit or whatever, I'm going to promote someone young and British, not an old Australian guy with hair, because what's the point? We need to make stars of the young people.
Who isn't actually playing in Super League?
No, in the second division.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you talk about Aston Sims, I tell you which two brothers can play. Boy, oh boy.
Sister as well.
His brother Tarek Sims and Morgan, boy, oh boy. Eh?
Corey.
Was it Corey? But I tell you what, Terry, he has no respect for his body. Jesus Christ. Not just defensive.
It's going to be hard now you've got a job. You ought to better watch the NRL all week, will you?
Well, it's a bit harsh, isn't it?
No, I'm only saying.
I'll tell you what, I must say as well, that we're talking about, women's sport and what have you. That's got to be the worst programme ever on television, that no swimming.
Well, nothing I've got anything to do with sport in fairness.
No, well, we're talking about rugby, that no swimming's got to be the worst television programme
I
ever!
thought you were going to say something like the Super League.
Anyway, I
Another
watched
week
him
for
for 5
John
minutes.
Bateman in the NRL.
I said, yeah,
Fantastic.
brilliant.
Sensational.
He's just ripping him apart. He's just, you know what? He's just being John Bateman and John Bateman. You know what? The Aussie commentator just sums John Bateman up because I think John Bateman is like me mucking at Lee Crooks and fair play Crooks. He'll agree with me. If you put Crooks in £1,000 suit, it still looks scruffy. And John Bateman's the same. And the commentator, and on Thursday or Friday we played, he said, John Bateman, he said, he just looks like a $2 steak. He doesn't play like a $2 steak, but it looks like a $2 steak. But it's correct, isn't it? But I'll tell you what, he's absolutely ripping it up.
Before I bring you-
made a real impression.
Before I begin the Challenge Cup draw, mentioning Canberra, obviously the commentators outed it, didn't they? Eddie mentioned
Yes.
this in the commentary.
Outed
Williams
George
is going.
Williams.
Ah.
Oh, he's got a camera, isn't he?
And
Well, that's what they said.
Canberra's April Fool's joke was that they were now coming to play games on the road over here.
Yeah.
Did you see the OKR April Fool as well? I got it from one of my sources over at OKR. Jonathan Thurston will come in.
Oh, that was Toronto.
Yeah, took the
we've got to OKR as well because the guy phoned me. He said, "Scotty, have you heard it? Jonathan Thurston's coming." I went, "You don't realise what that is."
And 5 State of Origin games, apparently.
5.
That was the NRL's April Fool.
The problem with April Fools is none of them are funny.
You had me then, Phil. You had me. I was thinking,
Right, come on, let's
can I get a free trip? Yeah, you had me.
Challenge Cup draw. Hull KR versus Lee, Widnes York, Thatto East Dewsbury, Leeds Workington, Halifax London Broncos, that is, Bradford Fev, Salford Rochdale, Doncaster Batley.
What dates are they?
13th and 14th.
Although I think
April.
some might be the 12th, they might play on the Friday.
13th and 14th of April.
Uh, David says we should get some women on as guests. Stay tuned, David.
Yes.
We may be
fingers crossed.
slightly ahead of you. there.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
What am I getting
We
booted
got,
off?
we got,
No, you're going on loose women.
No, I'm not.
we've realised we've got a studio that doesn't do anything for 6 days, well, 5.5 days a week. So, well, people don't know about that. So.
Any more on social media that's occurring?
People saying we should get rugby league players on the chase. Apparently, I don't know if people on the chase don't know anything now, do they? You only got a few seconds to get a question right. You're in trouble. Lots of people.
Surprised you haven't gone on the chase. You like quizzes.
I do like quiz. I've never been on one for some reason. I don't know.
I'm good at quizzes. I'm good at chase. I can't do that pointless. I can't do that. But
We did
chase,
alright in the pub
chase,
quiz last night.
I understand. Yeah, you did well.
A couple of bottles of wine.
chase and tipping point. I'm good at that. You can tell I've been out of work, can't you, for 6 months?
It's when you watch the old ones on channel, you know it's going wrong. Oh, Family Fortunes with Les Dennis doing his Mavis impression. Ian says, give McClellan the go. A few are saying that. Elsewhere, Craig says, Bradford, some women are playing before the men's team at Oldham on Sunday. Good.
Yeah.
More double headers, more things.
Yeah.
What you need to do is get more people to see the product,
Correct.
so then you can sell the product.
The product will
Once they
sell
know what it
itself.
is.
Market will sell itself. It
Once
will
they
sell
know what it
itself.
is.
I mean, well, Phil, we said it when we went to Keith at that time. What was it, 95? So when was it?
It might have
When
been
was it?
earlier than that. But
Maybe early then. When we was all the first game of Women's Rugby League. Way back then, we said, I tell you what,
wow.
not just where they get ripped in, but the skill level is sensational. It is,
Yeah.
and the commitment,
Absolutely.
the purpose, and the attitude's brilliant.
Oh,
Absolutely
Yes.
brilliant.
This is Tim's reminding me. Thanks, Tim. International Rugby League news. You remember last week we exclusively didn't reveal that tournament that's going on in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The games, the fixtures have been released. In breaking tradition from Rugby League, the fixtures have been announced. 2nd of October, Nigeria versus Ghana and Cameroon versus Morocco.
Oh, this is the MEA
Yes.
Championship. Yeah.
And then on
Have you
the
got
5th
the
of
coaching
October-
job in Nigeria? Have you
Well,
got it?
well, stand by your beds. 5th of October, final and third place playoffs. Everyone loves a third place playoff.
It's for ranking points.
At
so.
the Teslim Balogun Stadium, we will put chips in the media box.
We're all off to
Jaffa
Jaffa
cake.
cakes at Wakefield yesterday. Jaffa cake.
Were any of us there? No.
What, instead of chips?
No,
as well as chips.
Going on there.
salary cap, food related questions are being asked of Wakefield.
Tim says on internationals, any word on who the England Brackets Knights might be playing this season? Talk of a home game. It's in the paper today.
Yeah, it is.
Who will they be
Who are
playing?
they playing, Phil?
Don't rule out Jamaica.
It's playing Jamaica.
Well, I did enjoy.
No, it might not be Jamaica, but I know Jamaica.
Trinidad.
Are for a
What's the point of playing Jamaica? What are we going to learn about that?
well, Jamaica need to play fixtures
Yeah,
in the build up to the 2021 World Cup.
But what good is it going to do for the England Knights?
Well,
They'll absolutely wallop them.
Not necessarily. I think you'd be surprised how many people
Oh,
will make
Phil,
themselves available
do
for
me a
Jamaica.
favour.
I may have got this
Do me a
wrong, but
favour. The Knights will absolutely wallop Jamaica.
It could be France.
TV's Martin Sadler, in his column in the paper today, had a squad of players that haven't been picked for England, which includes Zach Hardacre. And one of the names on this is Ben Jones Bishop. Did he qualify for Jamaica? His brother plays for Jamaica, doesn't
Yeah.
he? So I'm assuming his brother plays.
No,
Might be allowed
he played in the World Cup
I thought he
qualifier,
did.
yeah,
So there you go.
in America.
Can't have him, Martin. He's playing for Jamaica versus England.
Mind you, England have got Ollie Roberts, who is Irish.
Yeah. An Irish international.
Mind you, I'm slightly concerned because in Martin Sadler's squad he's got Brett Ferris, which I don't know if he's been watching Leeds recently.
Oh, wow, what a comment. How bad's that? Right, we're on
Are
predictions.
you disagreeing?
I think you give Brett Ferris a good ball.
I don't think it's worked out for him at least, but he's very good when he was at Wakefield.
Yeah, I'm good as Phil.
Out of the field.
He was an international Phil.
There
He
you go.
was. There you go. Right, prediction time.
But not a Jamaican international.
What time is it?
Yeah, it's 10 to.
What Brett
No,
Ferris
why?
plays
We've
for
got to
Jamaica?
get these women's games in as well.
Yeah, come on, right, let's go. Prediction time. Hello, we're back. It can't be as bad as last week, sure.
Hold on, 5 out of 6 for me.
Yeah, but not on
No,
our
not
competition.
this. Not
Well,
this.
you don't take any notice of that.
Not this. I think you work on if you put up every team to win on various outlets, you say, I'll put them up.
Well, I think with the media, when I've got to be in the top 5, I couldn't care less about that one. So,
Hang on, let me get the meat. Well,
You know
I'll
that
find the league table.
Whoever is bottom is buying an extensive food and drink night out, and you are currently bottom. You do know that, don't you?
And Annika knew
How
that
am I
3 weeks
bottom?
ago.
How are you bottom?
hold on, when I've got to be in the top 5 with the media prediction, how come I can't be
You're
bottom?
mirroring, you're
Hang on,
mirroring
hang on.
Leeds at the
That's
moment.
because on you.
You
Hang
just
on, whoa,
said
whoa,
On your
whoa,
media
whoa, whoa,
predictions,
whoa,
you've
You've
got
just
one
said for the
side.
last
Hold on,
You've
yeah.
just said
We've
for the
got
last
the
2
media
weeks
one
you've been
now. We've
right.
got the
We're
media
predictions.
one.
Hang on.
Right.
Top 5. Is your name Gareth Walker? No.
No.
Peter Martini? No.
No.
Bruno from the French people? No. Tony Gleave? No. John Davison? No. But I'm there.
Richard Shaw, right,
Yeah.
is the top of. I'm near the bottom, and I'm just.
Hang on, I'm still scrolling down. You're below TV's Matt Shaw. You're below Matt Horton. Tom Maguire. Who's Tom Maguire? Hang on, we're still going.
It's all Tom
Hold
over
on,
there.
have you paid your 20 quid? Because I can't
There
find
he
that. There
is.
you go.
Whatever.
You've got 4 right in the
Yeah.
media.
38 points.
And you've got 38. I've only got
And
30.
what position is he in?
I don't know. I'd have to work
He's
it out.
Hull KR in the league.
But he's
too.
below everyone.
I am Leeds.
Is there
son.
likely to be relegation?
You're below Craig Murdoch, so we'll be putting the call in again. That's not filter. You're below Danny Park. He's in Bahrain. They don't have rugby league in Bahrain. Although if we tell Steve Mascot, he might set up a shirt for him and everything.
Anyway, right,
Move
let's
on,
go.
move
Let's
on.
go. Right, Hull KR Leeds.
Move
Leeds
on.
buoyant after their magnificent win.
At one point.
Hull KR, don't matter, they won. Hull KR didn't win, but were good at St Helens. So who's going to win this one?
Well,
Thursday night.
Both teams, I'm going as well. I'm going away. Thanks very much, Steve Shallington. SJ's Flooring, thank you. You never know, it could be a sponsor. Great,
ask him.
good invite. Yeah, we'll do. Good invite, nice invite, hospitality on Thursday night. But 2 teams desperate for the 2 points. Hull KR had a dig, and a good dig as well against St Helens. Leeds, yes, point after the cast. They know now they're going to repeat that performance, and I think they will do. I think Leeds will repeat that performance. I don't think it would be in a one-off. They've managed to find their way to win. All right, maybe luckily, but I think they're going to go there. And I think they're going to get the 2 points. I'm going Leeds by 10.
I think Leeds have got a good record there as well. They've won the last 4 or 5 occasions at Hull KR. I just thought the reaction from the players at the end was one of belief in themselves again. A little bit like Warrington last year when they won at Catalan and it turned their season around.
Yeah,
And it
fair
wasn't anything to do with whether they were playing well or not. It was something clicked.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Leeds by 4, but I don't think they'll find it easy. I think Hull KR have to win, but I think Leeds will just have a bit too much for them.
Thanks to Benny for sending us the handicaps with the sponsors. At the time of recording on Monday, Leeds are minus 2 point favourites. I've gone bigger than everyone. I think Leeds showed for most of that game that they can play some good rugby if they're all heads are screwed on, and they're not playing against Castleford this week, which is a bonus. Hull KR not quite as good as Castleford, I've noticed this year. And if it doesn't rain, Leeds will win, and I've gone for Leeds by 12.
I think Leeds win. Well, I'll say that now. I think Leeds win. I'm just not convinced by the margin. I'll tell you what, I think this is must-win for Hull KR. I think if Hull KR lose this, then they are officially in a relegation dogfight, however you dress it up. So, I'm going to go for Leeds. I just can't help feel if you just get Hurrell on the front foot early, and it could, if what you're saying is right, and that outpouring of belief, then they should, for me, go Hull KR and win quite easily. I'm going to go Leeds by 14.
Oof. So the most active Leeds people on the panel have gone for the biggest score.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Put that in your pipe and
hashtag Leeds
smoke
in
it.
crisis.
Leeds in crisis.
Yeah.
The shirt will be back next week.
Hull KR win 47-0.
Castleford against Wigan, Friday night. Ooh, no McShane for Cass.
No Matt Shane, so yeah, a bit of a big problem. Wigan, good confidence booster against Catalans. Couldn't ask for any more, could you? 46 points scored, keeping the Catalans, who, not to be honest with you, rubbish out in this moment in time, to 0. Cass have got a few problems. Matt Shane a big loss. Is Rankin going to be fit, do we know?
No, 3 weeks or something.
Well, there's no creativity there. There's a vision and awareness. Truman, he'll have to do it all himself. It's got to be Wigan, hasn't it? And it's got to be Wigan by 10 again.
I think even more than Leeds jagging a 1-point win. Wigan, the magnitude of Wigan's win against Catalan has relieved everything that's been going on in the club. I think there's a huge cloud been lifted. And I can't see them losing on the back of that. Cass, by Darryl Powell's own admission, are going to struggle for the next few weeks because they haven't physically got the bodies that they need out there. Again, I thought it was an odd thing to say, even if he thought it, that at the moment he's being forced to play players that he knows aren't good enough. I don't know how that affects his squad. I don't know how you turn up on a Monday morning and go, am I one of the people that you don't think are good enough? I just think it's too difficult a task for Cass at the moment to overturn a Wigan team that are buoyant. So I think Wigan by 8.
They've got a 4-point start with the bookmakers as we speak today. I'm going to go with Wigan as well. Adrian Lamb was right in that defeat against Warrington. People scoffed when he said we're on the right track, but they've won 2 in a row now, so that's a run. So they're not in crisis. Castleford are, even though they're third in the table. I think it will be a win for Wigan, and it will be 4 points, and it will be a try scored by a certain
ZH.
Wigan number 1. Wigan
Number
by
20.
20.
Yeah.
Wigan by 4.
Ever since I said Cass were just going quietly about their business, they've either an injury crisis or a crisis of confidence. I think they're weak on the edges, and I think that's where Wigan are really strong. And I think Wigan.
Greenwood back as well for Wigan, is he?
I think Cass defensively will stick in it. I'm going Wigan by 6. Right there, I've said it now. Wakefield, Huddersfield.
Interesting one, this, isn't it? Very, very interesting. Wakefield have got 3 on the bounce, haven't they? The home games coming up, so they need to make it a fortress. But Huddersfield, with that spine playing well, Gaskell playing well, the forwards laying a good platform. Do you know what, this game could be a very, very entertaining game. It could be an open game if the conditions are dry as well. I'll tell you what, this might go to a golden point, this one, where both teams play. You know, I reckon, do you know what? I'm going to go a draw, and I'm going to go Wakefield with a golden point.
Right, Wakefield by 1 then.
Danny Brough against a club that he's got something to prove. I think that gives Wakefield the edge in this one. Again, important for me that Wakefield got a home victory against a very good Salford team, because the defeats they'd had at home, I think, would have been gnawing at the back of their mind. But I think, again, that frees them up. Huddersfield are a team that are getting into some form, but I'm not sure it's good enough to beat Wakefield at Wakefield. So Wakefield by 8 for me.
Long list of people who've played with distinction for both clubs: Neil Fox, Danny Brough, Wadeli Sovatabua. I'm going Wakefield by 12.
Neil Fox.
I think this is a must-win for Wakefield. They've already lost 3 at home. They can't afford to lose too many more at home. Giants are playing really well. I just think the Brough factor. They expect a big performance from him. I'm going Wakefield by 7.
7.
Warrington, London. we need to speed up a little bit on these, but
Yeah.
Warrington, London.
Yeah, there's only one winner here. It all depends on Warrington's attitude, and I don't think there'll be a problem with Warrington's attitude. I'm going Warrington by 46.
I think the ruthless nature that Warrington showed in the second half at Hull tells you exactly where they are at the moment. I don't think they'll take London for granted, because I don't think Steve Price will let them. Looking again at the way London's season's going, I think you're right that they will have picked certain games where there's a more likelihood of a win. So Warrington by 34.
Very similar to Phil. I've gone Warrington by 32.
It'd be interesting whether they roll their team, Warrington.
I think they will. I
I
think they'll
think
rest
they
a
might make
couple.
some
Going into
changes.
Easter, I think they will.
Yeah.
Bookies have them by 28, by the way.
I'm not so
I
sure.
think they'll cover that. I think they'll cover that. And that's no disrespect to London, who've been very good defensively in
Yeah.
places, but they're playing Warrington at the wrong time. And I think Warrington, they've got people playing for places there as well. There'll be no easy enough. I'll go Warrington by 34. Right, Catalans St Helens Saturday.
There were these two.
That noise,
Someone stood on your
Like,
foot.
No, I'm just trying to with the boredom for this fixture, because I think this will be a very, very boring fixture. I just think both teams lacking confidence. Both teams are lacking.
What, Saints lacking confidence?
You said Catalans, didn't you?
Catalan Saints.
I thought you said Catalans Hull.
No, Catalan Saints.
I thought you said Catalans Hull. Oh right. Oh, St Helens, isn't it? Sorry, St Helens. I thought you said Catalans Hull.
I don't think I did. I thought I said
I don't
St
think you
Helens.
did.
No.
Was mine, isn't it? Oh, well, it's St Helens 24. I thought you said Catalans Hull. That's a boring
Go back to
fixture.
sleep, Gary.
Eh?
I cannot see Catalan turning around such an ignominious defeat this week within 7 days. I think the way Saints not only are playing defensively, but whoever they put in at the moment looks and though exactly they know what the side is doing and what the coach wants out of them. I can't see Saints losing this at all. Saints by 20.
It's not at the same time as the Grand National, isn't it? So that'll bump the viewing figures down. For some reason, I think these are going to be closer than everyone else. So I'm probably going to be horribly wrong, but I don't mind. Saints by 8.
I think
We've not disagreed.
I think
on any-
Saints. No, we haven't. But that. Well, we'll find out if we're either all wrong or all right. That's how we're going to be. I think Saints will win. I think Steve McNamara needs a performance. Based on what we saw in the second half on Sunday, he ain't going to get one. And I think St Helens, having rested a few, will win. I'll go Saints by 22.
22.
Yes. Right, moving on quickly. Salford Hull, last one in the men's.
Right, yeah,
Super
right.
League.
I've heard you properly there. Hull there.
Hull
Well,
at Salford, Gary. Hull
Yeah.
at Salford.
Salford need a reaction from the performance against Wakefield. Hull, well, they're out of form, they're out of confidence. Salford like playing at home. I'm going Salford quite easily here. I'm going Salford by 20.
Did Rob Studport start up at the weekend? Hull haven't beaten a team in the top 8 for over 300 days.
Have they not?
No.
And I can't see that changing. Again, Salford, really interesting at the moment. They're at that ceiling where they can't quite get over the teams that are above them, but they seem to perform really well at against the sides that are around or below them. I think Ian Watson will get a reaction. Lee Radford probably won't. He's saying that there aren't too many people that will come back in, and I think we do need to say I felt sorry for Danny Houghton this week because he played his 300th game, and that is not the reward he deserved for it. I just don't know how Hull can galvanise themselves at the moment, so I'm going Salford by 12.
I've gone for a very similar number. I think it will be a Salford win as well. Bucky's only giving Hull a 2-point start, so I think this is another obvious one to go for, and I'm going for Salford by 14.
I'm going to go for Hull. I think Salford have just had a couple of defeats in the last 2 weeks in games they would have felt they could have won. Hull were too bad to be true last week. They're not playing Warrington. They're playing Salford. I think they'll have Ellis back and maybe one or two more. I'm going to go for Hull by 1.
Hull by 1.
Yes. Right, Women's Super League. Is it St Helens Wigan or Wigan St Helens? They're not in, are they in the other page? Oh, my
Wigan
apologies.
St Helens.
Wigan St Helens then. Come on then, quick one. Wigan the champions.
Well, it's a big local rivalry, isn't it? There'll be a reaction from the St Helens ladies. I've got St Helens ladies by 8.
8.
New season, so you don't really know how new recruitment is going to affect them, but I'll go with the champions to make a good start to their trophy defence. Wigan by 16.
They had a disappointing season last year, didn't they, by their high standard Saints? So, with injuries and such. I'm going to go with the champions, though, Wigan. I'm going to go Wigan by 4.
Okay, I will go St Helens by 2. I think Saints will win. Right, good luck to the girls in Women's Super League. Kicks off this weekend. Good luck to everyone involved in the Rugby League this weekend. Hope your team plays well. Yes, that even includes Leeds. All right, Leeds not in crisis for 1 week only. Let's see what they do on Thursday night. We'll see. Thanks to Gary. I was look really smart today, Gary. Just want that chocolate.
I've got a proper job, that's why I've got a proper job.
Thanks to Phil. Mr. Pearson over here. Thanks to Phil. Thanks to Shaw Wright, who's eating his chocolate cake now. He's rubbing it on his face as we speak. Download the podcast. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.